Mute DW.
Okay.
Just watching the clock. Good morning, everyone. It is 8:30 on a Monday. The date, is it the 21st? That sounds right.
It is.
Am I right? All right, I got it right. Welcome, everybody, to the JCPS Digital Learning Channel. I'm Stephen Durham with the Digital Innovation Team. Team, let's go ahead and introduce yourself. I'll just go along the bottom. Rebecca, say hi.
Hey, everybody.
And we have Mr. Balka.
Good morning. How are you all?
And Kyle Chandler is with us today.
Hey, what's up, guys? Good morning. Happy Monday.
And not quite camera ready is Kathleen Receiver from Zone 2.
Good morning.
How you doing, Jim?
I am good. Rocking out Zone 2 crew. Happy Monday.
Yes. Jack Bosley from the sofa.
That's right. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Jack.
3 weeks.
And Danielle DW, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How is everyone?
We're doing good.
Awesome.
Let's take a quick look at the schedule. So at 8:30, we have Digital Tool Weekly Updates episode. Basically, we're going to use this time every Monday because we know things are constantly changing with the digital tools we are using. And here's a chance for you to get the updates on how to use the latest digital tools with your NTI instruction. At 9 o'clock, we're going to have School Connects for teachers, and we'll have the School Connects team here. And then it looks like we have Savas taking us up through lunch, and we will have the Savas team representing. And then in the afternoon, after lunch, we have Gifted, using choice boards effectively to enrich gifted and talented students. Reciprocal teaching, HYP, not sure what that is, for distance learning. Opportunities to respond, HYP for distance learning. Fact-checking and anti-racist resources. And leveraging Google Classroom with AP students. So we have a full-packed day today. Let's go ahead and get it started. And I'm going to turn it over to Kyle Chandler, who is leading our synchronous instruction.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Wanted to go over with you some of the updates that we have experienced, kind of revisit some of those, and then also look at some roadmaps from both Microsoft and Google on what some of those upcoming features are. So here in a moment, I will share my screen with you, and I'll navigate you over to, well, this is always the fun part here. Trying to figure out which screen to share, huh? All right. Hopefully you guys are seeing something now.
Yeah, all good.
Okay. So if you navigate to jcps.me/NTI. Also, this is where Durham was probably talking about the schedule with you. But if you head over to the teacher toolkit, and then we'll look down at the core digital tools, and you have the synchronous and for Teams and Meet. So if you hop into the Google Meet tip sheet, it'll take you right here. And we've tried to keep this up to date. As Durham mentioned, it's a pretty fast-moving situation we're in right now, which is great because they're working with us to update things for you guys and make it easier. But there's a lot of resources and info on here, and we'll go over some of it live with you in a bit and kind of show you how some of these features, commonly referenced features, work. But what I wanted to show you was you have a couple of documents linked up here on top. So you have the new features for update or for Google Meet. That's an update as well. So this is just like an overview, not necessarily a how-to, but what features are out there for you. So you can click through to that. And some of you may have seen that in email. You also have the video, the on-demand video on the Digital Learning Channel that was recorded for you guys. And then this is what Jack sent me this, and thank you again, Jack, for sharing. And he wanted to make sure that we hit it with you guys. But this is the coming soon, right? So we have what's new, what's hit our domain, and we have what's on their roadmap for us. So what's coming our way very soon. So if we open this up, you will see, and there are not only some updates on Meet, but if you scroll a little further down, some on Google Classroom as well. But as you guys may or may not know, this was dated August 11th here. They had a conference and they put this blog out with some stuff. But control for the moderators, you guys are already starting to see a fair deal of that. So you can prohibit them from joining, which was that lobby feature that you have to, or I'm sorry, the quick access feature that you have to turn off. We'll show you some of those controls here shortly. In meeting for all when it's finished. Manage the join requests by joining in bulk. I don't think I've seen it in bulk just yet because, in Teams, once they kind of stack up, you can hit admit all. I haven't seen that released just yet in Meets, but they do say it's coming. You can disable the meeting chat. So only you can speak to the group. So that's a big deal. You guys are already telling us that's out there and working, and that's available to us now. The setting that requires us to join first, that's out there. Okay, so some things we want to show you that we noticed last week after our tool update last Monday was you can now go down and enhance the size of your grid view manually. Okay, so it'll take you up to a 49 student view at once. So there's no need for any kind of extensions or anything like that any longer. We'll show you what that looks like in person here in a bit. It says they're going to add a collaborative whiteboard with Jamboard and Meet, so you can encourage students to share. Okay, so here's kind of where we are now. Those things are out there. Blur or replace background. So some of you already have the blur option, and that's great. But it also says that they'll be able to add custom backgrounds. Well, good news is we can turn those off. It says that here. Note, admins can disable the custom backgrounds as needed. Think about the blur as a neat feature for really any of us, teachers and students alike, that may have little brothers and sisters running around in the background or whatever our circumstance is. If we are able to blur that background, that might garner more participation with the video for our students and teachers, which is awesome. Attendance tracking, that was another popular request after we had pivoted to Meet there briefly as a district, where you can basically pull down who was in your Meet at any given time for attendance purposes. And then breakout rooms. So right now it's kind of possible, but it's like more of a manual endeavor. You kind of have to put a little bit of legwork in the first place. We'll talk more about the breakout Meet in Teams here shortly, Microsoft Teams, but know that it's coming to Google Meets as well. That's something that they're launching in October is what they're telling us, which is great. And we have been on the earlier end of most of these feature releases, which is awesome. Also launching later this year is all they say. They just hope the end of this year at some point, sometime between October and December, hand raising. So that was another popular feature in Teams. And then Q&A feature for students to ask questions without disrupting the flow of class. So polls and things of that nature. So that's pretty exciting. They talk about some things that don't pertain to us here, but some Google Classroom things that are on the horizon also. Basically, they're going to add a widget, to-do widgets for students and teachers so that you can kind of reference something a little more quickly instead of having to dance around for the info. So that's an important update. But check this link out. Let me go back here. I really want to teach you how to fish. So if you go to the MTI 2.0 website, and then you go down here to the tools, the toolkit, you can click through on the tip sheet here to take you to all of these. And this sheet was more how-to. So this is the first sheet. This one was what's out there. And then this one was kind of how to do it in a little more detail with some pictures and information. So let's see here. Let's look real quick at some of these features in Meet. And I'll invite some of my team here if you guys want to join. Again, we recommend that you start your Meet. Oh, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, sorry. Chelsea Haynes asked in the chat, do we think that on our admin side we're going to turn off custom backgrounds and for students and just give them the blur, or how do you think we'll handle that?
Yeah, I'm almost certain that we'll just wind up giving them blur. So I wouldn't panic about that one. I do understand though. But yeah, the fact that they gave us the option I think is really cool, but I'm pretty sure we'll turn off those backgrounds as soon as that hits us. But for now, some are starting to get the blur, which is great. So good question, Chelsea.
Thanks, Kyle.
All right, so I'm going to join this real quick. I'm going to copy, and I'm going to paste it. It's test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, by the way, if you want to join that way. But I've copied the link in my team's chat so that some of them can join me if they would like to do so. So we were discussing before some of these new features that are available to you. I'm going to also try to hop on here as a student. Hey, Boca. Let me mute this one, so I'm not getting feedback. So what you want to do, we talked about this before, but this little button here, the host controls, are the key. This is the thing that you need to adjust. Okay, so you notice that I released the link. I had, we'll say in this scenario, students joining, so they are able to hop right in and go to town. However, if I hopped in the host controls before I opened it up, I can turn these features off. The quick access, you must turn quick access off. See, they had quick access, which is why they joined so quickly without a lobby or a waiting room. They could also have shared their screen and could have sent chat messages. Now I've turned those things off. So in theory, if anyone else joins or attempts to join right now, that was test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I should be prompted here with whether or not I want to allow them to join me. So let me hop down here real quick and I'll show you the, there's 3 ways to get to that, by the way. So you've got this host control here. You've got the 3 dots down here at the bottom, and then in settings, there you go, host controls. There you go.
Kyle, we're just on the incognito tab right now.
Oh man, that's awkward.
Yeah, that's okay.
How about that?
There we go. Thank you.
So back to the I was narrating the fact that I could turn those controls on and it would allow me to get the admit or deny entry message. And so now I'm going to admit him back in or allow him to join me. I've got the host controls. You had them here. You had them in the 3 dots up here in settings. And then you also had them in the participants list here. Host controls. But I want to show you this feature real quick as well. This is one of the new features where you could adjust your layout. So if you go to change layout, you can actually now, if you turn it to tiled, you can crank that on up to that 49 max. So this is, again, without that extension necessary. So that's a pretty cool feature that they laid out there for us. And again, it hasn't hit everyone yet, the blur feature. But if, like, I know Danielle has it, and I don't think it's a platform thing. I think it just has to do with what bucket you're in, I guess. But the 3 dots, I think they said, there you go, Bulka's got it. If you guys will look down there, I'll pin his screen real quick. So now, his background gets blurred. It works just like it did in Teams, and you can't see anything but him. And there you go. Since I've turned those host controls, adjusted them. Now Danielle's going to join us. So let me unpin Matt here. Now you're starting to see the group grow. But same with the chat feature. Can you guys, let's see here. I'll hop over here. See, it says let everyone send messages. That's off right now. So if I do test, they'll get the chat. I can say, hey guys, go to this link, do this thing. Don't really do that. You're going to join the replays. Then you've got to let everyone chat. Now my team should be able to chat with me as well. And there you go. So you'll see if for some reason you want to kind of rein the class back in, we'll say, then you could pop right over here in the chat and you just disable that control. So what did I want to show? Okay, so Matt, you're always a good guinea pig for me. I'm going to kick you out of this real quick. So when you remove someone from the meeting, this could be tied to students only. We're going to find out. But I think when you remove them, he's going to have to get an invite directly from me to get back in. So let's test this out. Matt, if you'll try to hop back in real quick, I'm going to remove from meeting. So let's say for some reason, again, we either need to close it down or there is a disruption of some sort or whatever the case is. Johnny walked away and I'm trying to in class. I can remove the participant and they cannot even attempt to hop into the lobby this way unless I go right back up here to add people. If I go right here to add people, it kind of overrides that timeout period sort of, and it's about 24 hours. So if I removed Matt as a student, it would be about 24 hours until he could rejoin my static link. So the link that I use every day for class, he couldn't get back into that unless I asked him to join again this way. So if I click add people, I can go to Matthew Bolka. Now, as soon as I add him, it's going to say send email. It will send him an email, but it also recognizes his rights. And then from that, he should be able to hop right back into this link or ask me for permission to join. There you go. And so it treated it as if he had lost a connection since I made it clear I wanted him in my meeting. It just allowed him to hop right back. I could remove him now just as easily.
That's great clarification. I know a lot of our teachers were thinking because they saw that send email They thought the only way was if the student could get back into the email. So, for example, if you had a first grade student, it might take them a bit to get into their email. But it's just once you send that email, it also sets their privileges that they're
Exactly.
privileged to get back in. Yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft side works more on links and settings within a link, and the Google side works more within the rights associated within our domain, I think. So that's kind of a distinction to try to put on when you're thinking through these. But yes, that will allow them back in that way.
Okay, so a teacher, if they remove them accidentally or on purpose, can always bring them back in at a later time.
That's right. Yep.
Great.
Right away, or they can wait the cool out period, or so if I'm honestly, if I'm being overly cautious and I'm resetting that link every time there's a meeting, right? That would kind of be moot because I have at that point kicked them out of that one, but they can ask to join the new one, which is fine. They still have to get permission. But if I am trying to simplify things for my students and I want to keep the same link at all times, yes, if I gave them that cool off period by removing them, it would force them a 24-hour before they could hop back into that static link that doesn't change if that's what I'm using. But if you want them back in before, just go up there to participants, add people, and it will let them back in that way.
Great. Good to know.
I'm trying to think if there were any other cool new features that we can discuss from Meets at this time. I don't think so. So
I think that was it.
Yeah. So be sure to check the. I'll let you guys go from this. Thank you. Be sure to check the roadmap up here. Here we go. Be sure to check the roadmap for features that are coming out. Again, we have their ear right now as well. They've been great partners. They're listening. So check that roadmap out. Let's take a peek at Teams now.
Kyle, while you're transitioning,
Yeah.
I opened up that email that it sent me whenever you invited me back in, just to let teachers know like what they'll be telling their students to look for. The meeting says Kyle Chandler via Google Meet, and it says happening now. Kyle Chandler invited you to a video meeting, and there's a link. As soon as I click on that email, there's a link that says join meeting that's big and green.
Would you mind screen sharing real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's look at that.
Share
So
screen.
again, guys, if your students are like in their email, like that's cool. You can have them use that, but
Yeah.
they could also just click back on the link.
So show block content. Yep. So you can see it's right at the top here. It says happening now.
hold
Kyle
on.
Chandler invited you.
Clicking. Sorry, camera guy
Sorry.
had to get on you. There you go.
So it says happening now. It tells me it was Kyle Chandler that invited me back, and it says just join meeting. So if I click join, if he was there, it would put me back in. So and whatever it tells you whenever you kick a student out, if they try to go back to that link, it just says like you've been removed, you can't join back in. So it's very clear to the student they were kicked out.
Yeah, they know what's up. But it's also cool because if you notice, Matt was able to hop back in. So that's another feature that they added was if someone gets dropped or they leave on their own fruition, so they decide they're going to leave, if they've already been admitted, they will be able to just hop back in. So if you have, you're not going to keep getting disruptions from class. It's whatever tool works best for you. If Teams works for you, use Teams. If Microsoft works for you, Google works for you, use Meet. That's cool. But one of the things to compare and contrast is in Teams, you'll get those messages, recur every time somebody tries to join, whether or not they left or removed, you'll get that lobby message. So, it's just another thing to manage, which, not good or bad, just different.
Kyle, before we go over to Teams, Chelsea Haynes had a question. We know we have to reset that security shield feature each time, but she wanted to know if you have to go in and set, like, for example, the number of tiles that are visible for you. Is that something
Yes.
that you have to adjust each time?
Yep.
Okay,
That's another
great.
one of those things.
Good to know.
Absolutely. But good question. Yeah. And a good point, Chelsea. Thank you for bringing that to the attention of folks watching as well. You've got to change those host controls every time because by default, they have it on quick access, which means the kids can just hop right in. So you got to really, the kind of the best practice advice is that before you make that link visible to students or share it with students, that you would first open the meeting, adjust the controls, and then share when that's possible for you to do. You can always do it on the fly, but we would presumably see the least issue that way. Let me drag you over here to some of the Microsoft Teams updates as well. Okay, so where's that document at? Okay, so we also have the meeting resource list, the Microsoft Teams meeting resource list, which is also in the NTI 2.0 portal right here. And so when you open this up for Teams, we've got a bunch of videos for the student, parent, and teacher facing side, infographics, docs, slides, all kinds of things out there for you. But I wanted to show you this. So we are in this. It's a private preview right now. This is only, for our domain. This is only for JCPS right now. And so, let's see here. It's on and it's available. And it's hard for me to show you. Let me see if I can get that any larger there. There you go. That little icon right there. If you have enough participants in and it has hit you, this is what you should see. Now, I'll tell you, it's this right here. This is not published publicly right now. This is just for us and a handful of others, if at all. So we are experiencing some bugs here and there. Some people will see it some days they won't. I had a teacher from Manual who was gracious enough to invite me to one of her classes to show me, hey, I see it. Everything looks like it's cranking, but when I hit this button, like nothing happens. And so again, Microsoft also is listening intently and making updates to this product for us. But no, right now we know that some days it might be there, some days it might not. It could be dependent upon device or browser or a myriad of things. But be patient, hang in there, and they're working on a lot of cool features for it as they bring it out that I'll talk to you about briefly. Go ahead, Jim.
Kyle, that's one of the ways I think that both Google and Microsoft have been responsive is that they are giving JCPS early access to these kind of features. And because of that, it is going to be they have told us and they know that it is a little buggy right now, but we're experimenting with them. So you just have to, like you said, just have to be patient. But that's what happens when you get early access. You become not even beta testers. We're like alpha testers is what we are right now.
And they're, it's a double-edged sword, like Jack said, so the good with the bad, but continue to report to us. And you guys have been great about letting us know what the issues are, and we're talking to them as well. So on the Teams desktop client, breakout room setup, this is what you could see right now in theory if it were working for you or that day. But this is all some pretty powerful stuff, and those that have had it work as intended for you have had great feedback. But I want you to know some of the questions that you've asked for. We've had people asked about breakout rooms being scheduled. So like you didn't have to go in and make them every time on the fly. I've kind of heard that was a point of consternation because, it eats up a little bit of your classroom. So you could kind of pre-create in a roster possibly or something like that. Let's see here. The ability for the presenter to hop between the rooms a little more freely. Set up before the meeting. There you go. Reusing assignments within the same recurring or non-recurring meeting. A timer for when the room will close, some accessibility improvements. So they're out there working. They're trying to get this, up to par and listen, and we're excited to partner with them. And I can't show. I don't have the feature for myself right now. Not only that, but sometimes that doubled up with some of the other programs we have running is a little hard on my machine. But all I can show you right now is this doc. But whenever I've witnessed it, it's been pretty neat. So this lives out there as well. I'll work on getting this linked in the resources. I don't think it's in there just yet, but that was an internal roadmap that they shared with us for our domain right now as we work on this testing. So
Kyle,
go ahead, Darren.
So Kyle, the word on breakouts right now is, as far as Teams go, it may be there, it may not, it may work, it may not. It's really, really early stage of rollout. How about on the Google side? What can we expect as far as breakout rooms for Google Meets?
On the Google Meets we talked about earlier, I think that it mentioned either October. I think it was either October or just Q4.
Yeah, it was October.
October, okay. So next month, very soon actually, then on the Google Meets front, we should see that.
And we'll be sure, we'll run an episode on that. We'll be here probably, that might roll out. We'll notice on Thursday, and we'll be here Monday to tell people about it when that does happen. And again, that'll probably be like an alpha or beta thing where we'll get through the bugs, but hopefully it'll be a tool that teachers can use to help with their instruction.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyle,
Certainly.
could you remind everybody about Microsoft Teams? Those breakout rooms are really only on Windows and Macs, right? That's where it's available.
Yeah, it mentioned that here, and actually, my reading looked like it could be available now on the app experience at all, as long as you have the most up to date version. So, I took that to mean it's possible that on the Chromebook app. I did not see that in the browser though, and I think that it was even saying that if the participants didn't have the most up to date, that it couldn't put them in one, that it would leave them in the main lobby. So if you're experiencing that, that could be the deal there. They might not have it on their end, so it might leave them in the main lobby. And I think they're working on that also. But this was their actual. This is a external, public-facing Microsoft website, and you actually could see that in development for Teams, like they're kind of publicizing it a little bit here. Can create breakout rooms, be used participants in a smaller group. They can assign participants a room, call them a larger group, and the breakout is complete. We anticipate delivering this feature no later than Q4, and that's what we're working on with them right now. And the last update was September 2nd. So.
All right, great. That's good information. Know that they're working on that, and that's coming for our teachers.
Yeah, any other questions you're seeing out there, Darren?
Let's see. No, we answered the one Chelsea had. Heather Worrell does say that she has a meeting with Google tomorrow, and they're going to be following up on, hey, where are we on breakout rooms for Google Meet? So hopefully we'll have more information. Like we said at the beginning of the program, technology is constantly changing. We're getting new features all the time. So yeah, and once we get that information, we'll make sure to share it, especially here on Monday mornings.
And that is, to piggyback off that, that's dependent on all of you sharing your experience with us as well. So please continue to give us feedback and send your questions and errors or your positive things as well. We love to hear when Microsoft Teams Breakouts works effectively. So it's another one of those shining, like, yay moments. So please continue to send that stuff to us. It really helps us create a better experience for everybody. So
yeah, and as Heather always says, and our team, like, this is great because we want our students and teachers to be digitally agile, and we are championing for all of these tools to improve and to be better for you and your students. So we're loving it. The continued responsiveness from all parties involved, the collaboration between teachers. A lot of you guys have invited us again to join and view these things and share feedback. So thank you for your patience and willingness to partner with us so that we can all kind of serve one another better.
Yeah, good information. We have about 3 minutes left, and if I can go ahead, I have something I've been wanting to share with the audience. I know I've talked about this before, but we've seen a lot of issues regarding home networks. And, it's really important that you have good Wi-Fi and broadband at your home if you're going to be using these tools like Google Meets and streaming a lot of video. I've had people say, hey, I have, my kids online doing a course and my wife's trying to teach, and I get on a meeting, and sometimes we don't have enough broadband for all of us. And I have recommended in those situations, and it's worked out positively for most of the people, contact your internet provider, and they might be able to up your broadband and reduce your bill. And this happened for an assistant principal I was working with, and he was able to save money and get it so that he wasn't getting kicked off meetings anymore. And I know different people are in different situations. I was working with someone who is on a houseboat, and they're using the Wi-Fi from the local marina, which sometimes helps her out, and sometimes it might be an issue. But it does not hurt to contact your internet provider and say, hey, I'm a teacher, I'm working from home, and I need as much broadband as I can to be able to teach my students during this time. And hopefully they can help you out and maybe save you some money. So I just wanted to share that. Did anybody else on the team have anything to share before we turn it over to School Connects?
Nope, thanks for sharing that out there. Appreciate it, man.
All right, yes. Okay, well, we're going to start dropping off so our next guest can be here. Thank you, Digital Innovation Team, for joining us this morning. And we have, let me take a look at the schedule here. Coming up at 9 o'clock, we have School Connects for Teacher, and we'll have the School Connects team here. I invited them this morning. They should be popping in soon. And then after that,
I'm here.
all right, great, good. I always like that when everybody's here. And then we have Savas training coming after that. So yes, Emily, hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Great, great. Thanks for joining us this morning. I've been working with my with school STCs lately. We've been resuming our virtual care visits with them, and I've been talking to my STCs. And one of the questions we talk about during our round one visits are, "Hey, how are things going with School Connects?" And I've been getting a lot of good feedback from them. They say, "Yes, we're using it. The whole school uses it. Our families are happy with the communication tools." So what I'm hearing from out there in the field is, yes, it's going well. So thank you
That's
for
great.
joining
We're
us,
glad to hear
and
that. Thank you.
yes, and letting us know more about it. So it is 9 o'clock. I will let you take it away.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Let me just share my screen with you. Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Emily, and I am part of the School Connects team that is working to support JCPS. So before I get started, I feel like I say this every week, but it's true, so I'm going to say it again. We are having such a great time working with JCPS. You guys have been such wonderful partners. Your staff are enthusiastic, your families are enthusiastic. It is clear that family engagement is something that's really important to you. And of course, this year more than ever, but we're just really excited to be partnering with you. So what we're going to do today is give you a little bit of a background on School Connects for those of you who haven't seen that yet. And then I'll show you what it looks like from both the parents' perspective, so you know what they're working with, and we'll go through some of the basics from your perspective. And then one of the things we wanted to spend the last few minutes focusing on today is how you can really drive activation in your classroom. So we will give you some of our tips that we have heard from some of our most successful teacher partners before we leave today. Okay, so School Connects is a comprehensive two-way engagement and communication solution. And what we really strive to do is to bring equity to your family engagement. So we do this in a few different ways, which we'll go over. But we really want to make sure that you can reach 100% of your families in their home languages and on their mobile devices. Okay, so I figured we would talk about how you guys all get on board. So we import information directly from Infinite Campus. We import your contact information, and then we also import rosters. So we import your school, grade level, and then class roster information, and we're doing that weekly. So as kids are changing schools or changing classes, especially while it's the beginning of the year, don't worry, you don't have to update any of that in School Connects. As long as it's in Infinite Campus, we'll pick it up, like I said, within a week, since we're doing weekly imports. So once you're in Infinite Campus, and therefore in School Connects, you can be sent an invitation. You as staff members will receive an invitation via email, because that's all we import for staff members. If you haven't received an invitation yet, I should have mentioned this earlier, but my colleague is here as well. She is in the chat window. So if you haven't received an invitation and you have any questions about that, there's a couple different reasons you might not have, but feel free to put a note in the chat. For guardians, they might receive an invitation via email, if there's one for them in Infinite Campus, or via text message, as long as there is a valid cell phone number for them. If you have student accounts enabled at your school, which a few JCPS high schools have opted to do, if you have student accounts enabled, then they will be able to receive invitations by email as well. You can also print out an invitation that can either be sent to any user or that you can use to help parents get on board if they have missing or incorrect contact information in Infinite Campus. And I'll show you how you can print out those invitations a little bit later on. Okay, so there's two kind of main ways to communicate through School Connects, and I just want to go ahead and talk to you about the differences between those so that you can figure out the best one to use to communicate with your families. So one of them is posts, and that's what you're going to see on the left-hand side of your screen. These are one-way kind of mass communication. This is you sending out information to your families. So this is going to replace flyers, replace emails. It's also just going to give you a platform to share information that you didn't have before. So especially if you're talking at the classroom level, you might want to share strategies that you're working on, or celebrate successes in the classroom. And before, you just didn't really have a place to do that. And you can do that through a post. So you're going to send them to any group. Like I said, we import your school, grade and class groups, but you can create any additional groups. So you might want to create groups for, homogeneous academic level groups across your classes or extracurriculars, anything like that. And so you'll be able to post news and events to those groups. You can include images, attachments, audio recordings, videos, and I'll show you how you can do all of this. Parents can read your posts, they can like your posts, but they're not commenting on them or anything like that. When you want to engage in two-way communication, you're going to use messages, and this is what's on the right-hand side of your screen. These are going to replace your notes, your emails, even phone calls home. It's just going to give you a really quick, convenient way to engage in two-way dialogue with your families. So this is where there's going to be a lot of relationship building with your families, and you're going to get to know and support your guardians really well. You can send these to any individual user or users. So if you want to send a message to both guardians connected to one child, or if you want to send a message to a child's guardian and the school counselor, you can do that. They can be initiated by any user. So if you have a question for dad, you can send a message to dad. And if he has a question for you, he can send a message to you. The nice thing about these is that it's two-way translation. So if you send a message to dad in English and English is not his first language, he can go ahead and translate it, even have it read aloud to him in his preferred language. And then he can dictate a message back to you in his preferred language, send it to you, and you can translate it back into English. So it really opens up the opportunity for, seamless two-way dialogue without any language or literacy barriers. Again, you can include you can include an image rather. And then the only thing I will discourage you on for messaging is we do discourage large group messaging. Any group messaging is going to behave just like group texting. So again, if you send a message to a guardian and the nurse, it's a really nice way for the three of you to engage in dialogue. But if you send a message to your entire class, you're going to open up the opportunity for two-way dialogue, which you might not want with a group of 40 guardians. So just be aware of that and limit your use of group messaging. If you want to communicate with the entire group, that's usually going to be best in a post. If you want to post information and you need to hear back from parents, you can always say in it to message you. And then that's something that they would do individually. They would start a message thread with just you. Okay, so let me go ahead and walk you through what it's going to look like from a parent's perspective. Now, everyone who has a School Connects account has access to, sorry, I'm just trying to get my phone up here. Everyone who has a School Connects account has access to use both the mobile app and the web. So you can use your computer or you can use your phone. Same with a guardian. We're just going to look at it from a parent's perspective on the phone because that's where we find most parents use School Connects, and then we'll look at it from the computer for your perspective. But just be aware that everyone can use both platforms. So this is a parent who has our language preference set to Spanish. So for those of you who haven't activated your accounts yet, what you'll see when you do is that the very first step of the registration process is to choose your preferred language. So she chose Spanish. So the entire registration process was in Spanish. And now when she logs in, you'll see how she can access all of this in Spanish. So when she first logs in, she lands on her feed. And this is any information that's been posted to any group that she's a part of. So if she has a first grader and a third grader, she's going to get information from the school, from the district, from both of their teachers, but she's not going to get any information about preparing for middle school or anything like that, because that doesn't pertain to her. So that makes sure that this is a really very relevant, curated feed of information. Now we're just going to click on a couple different things so you can see what's in here. One of them is a news item. So I'm going to click Leer Mas, read more. And here is some information that her child's teacher posted out to her. You'll see she can click translate at the bottom, and it's automatically going to translate all of this. So there could be a parent sitting next to her who has their language preference set to Haitian Creole. And when they hit translate, it'll translate it all into Haitian Creole. So again, taking that responsibility off of your plate to handle the translation. She can also click hablar to have it read aloud to her. And you'll see she can like this post. Of course, she's reading this post, but not a lot else for her to do. She's also going to see events in her feed. So if I tap on an event, here's an event that our administrator is having on Monday morning. She can right away see the link to the event if it's a virtual event. If this were an in-person event, then it would have a physical address and it would link to Google Maps. She can add it to her calendar. She can message the owner of the event if she has a question, and then she can RSVP. So a great way for you, from the person who's creating the event, a great way for you to receive RSVP information. And again, she can translate it, have it read aloud to her, all of that good stuff. And that is pretty much everything in her feed. We're just gonna go along the menu bar at the bottom, and I'm gonna tap on over to the directory. Here, she's gonna see her child's name at the top. If she had multiple children, she would be able to tap on Michael's name and switch over to look at another child. But right now we're gonna look at Michael. And then under Michael's name, she sees all of the teachers who are affiliated with Michael. And this is going to give your parents a really, really easy way to contact you. We spoke to a lot of parents who said that, they have questions for their children's teachers, but they might not know their names or how to spell their names. So all she has to do is tap on the name, and you'll see that I can see the profile picture and everything. So we'll talk about this a little bit more later, but this is another reason where it's really important for you to add a profile picture so your parents can find you easily. And then she's just going to tap message, and it's automatically going to bring up a message thread. So she's going to feel like she's texting you, but you'll notice that no contact information was exchanged. And I can ask a question about my child. I can let the teacher know something important about my child. But again, a really easy way for direct communication. I can send it in Spanish, I can dictate it, and I don't have to worry about coordinating times with a translator or anything like that. So you'll notice that the feed by design looks and feels kind of like social media, and the messaging by design looks and feels like texting. So it's going to be really comfortable and familiar for your parents. Okay, now let's jump over and look at what it looks like for you. So once you have logged in, once you've activated your account, which means you received that email invitation from us and you're in, you can always go to our website to log in and just click this little login button, or you can go directly to cloud.schoolconnects.com. That'll take you right to the login page as well. So again, when you log in on your computer, the first thing you're going to land on is your feed. So again, this will be any information that you have posted or that has been posted to a group that you're a part of. So again, if any information comes out from the administration to your entire school, that'll end up here, or anything that you've posted. So to post news, all you're going to do is come to this little plus sign and click news. You can do the exact same thing for an event, but right now we're going to click news. Now there are a lot of optional steps to take when you're creating news, so I'm just going to kind of show you what's necessary and then talk to you a little bit about the optional things. Every post has to have a title, so we're going to say talking about characters. You can also schedule the post. If I click this box, I can choose when I want the post to go live. So if you're working late at night, which I hope you're not, but I know realistically you are, then you can schedule this to go out at a later date. When the post does go live, all of your families will get push notifications. So if you don't want them to all get push notifications late at night, you can go ahead and schedule it for later. You can also use this maybe every Monday morning. You sit down and set something to go out on Tuesday and Thursday, or whatever schedule works for you. You can use this so you know that you're communicating with your families on a consistent basis. If I don't check this box, then it'll just publish immediately. There's also an expiration date affiliated with every post, and this makes sure that everything in your parents' feed stays relevant, so they're not still seeing that post about the back to school project in November. It's going to default to 2 weeks, but you can change it to whatever you want. There's going to be an article image affiliated with every post, and this is not necessary, but it is something that we recommend. If you think about kind of what catches your eye when you're scrolling through social media, it's usually things with images. So go ahead and post an image for your parents. And if you are posting from your computer, then this can be any image that you've either downloaded from online or uploaded from your phone. If you're posting from your phone, you can go ahead and just add any image that's in your camera roll. You can add additional attachments. These can be PDFs or images. The only thing to be aware of is if you're attaching a PDF, we do not have access to the contents of it. So the contents of it cannot be translated. So if you want to add an attachment, either because you think it's a great resource for your students or you like the formatting of it, that is completely fine. Just make sure you go ahead and you copy the contents and you put it down here in the body of your post so that it can be translated. You can click here to make an audio recording, completely optional, and to be honest, not used very often. So we're not going to talk a lot about it today. I just want you to be aware that you can create an audio recording, and it can either go out to all of the recipients of the post, or it can go out to just a specific language group. So if you wanted to create an audio recording for your Spanish-speaking families, you could do that. Okay, and then this is the meat of your post. This is the body of it, and I have one typed up already. I just forgot to copy it. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to copy and paste this post. I can go ahead and format the text however I like. It can be as short or as long as you want. I can use this button right here to create a link out to an outside source. If I wanted to share a video with my families, I could just go ahead and paste the link to the video. So the YouTube link, Vimeo link, whatever you're using. If I paste that link anywhere in my post, it'll automatically be embedded in there. The only thing to be aware of with your language is if you do know that you have a percentage of your population that is going to rely on the translations, don't use really flowery language or idioms, anything like that, just to make for the most clear, concise translation possible. Then I'm going to select my recipient so I can choose exactly who this goes out to. So I'm going to click this gray Add Group button, and I can choose who this goes out to. So if you are a classroom teacher, you'll have all of your groups that were imported from Infinite Campus listed here for you. For the sake of this post, I would just go ahead and post this out to my class. But I do want to show you that you'll also notice I have some other groups here. I have Girls on the Run, I have reading groups, I have other extracurriculars. I have my entire school. If you want to post your entire school, that's completely fine. Just be aware it's going to go to an administrator for approval first. Then I have some role types here at the bottom. Now, if you are in a school where student accounts are not active, you don't really have to worry about these role types. They will determine which roles within your group this post gets published to. So if you're in a school that has student accounts, you might want to post some information to just your students, and you might want to post some information to just your students' guardians. So again, if you're in a school that doesn't have student accounts, you don't really have to worry about this step. But if you do have student accounts, you just want to make sure that you check the appropriate boxes. I can go ahead and click Add Groups when I'm done. If I want to set up a reminder to go out that connects back to this post that goes out in a week or so, I can do that. Maybe I'm posting, way ahead of time about an assignment that's due in 2 weeks, and I want a reminder to go out in a week, and then another reminder to go out 2 days before it's due. I can go ahead and set those up right now so I don't have to think about them later. Again, completely optional, but it is there for you. Once I'm done, I can go ahead and click Preview, and if it looks good, I can publish it out. And all of my parents just got a push notification to their phones, letting them know they have this new news from me, and I am good to go. So there were, like I said, a lot of optional steps in there, but if you think about it, all I really had to do was add a title, add information, select my recipient groups, and click Publish. So it can be super, super fast, especially once you get used to it. If you want to post an event, it's the exact same process. There are just a couple other bits of information. The date and time of the event is here, and then the location. So again, it's going to default to your school's address, but if it's a virtual event, I can just click virtual event and then put the link to whatever the virtual Teams or whatever platform you're using right here. And other than that, it's going to be the exact same information. I'm going to go back to my feed, and I want to show you how you can find out who has read and liked your posts. So for any post that you yourself have published, I'm just going to come down here and click Read More. And then I'll notice there's this little eyeball icon. This is one feature that right now you do have to access from the web. You cannot do this from your phone. But if I want to see who's read it, I'm just going to click this little eyeball. And I have all of my guardians listed here, and I can click these little arrows next to read to see who has read it and who has liked it. Now, so far, I'm the only one who has read it because we just published it. But hypothetically, you'll see these little green check marks next to anyone who has read or liked your post. So that's really good feedback for you so that you know, especially if it's really important information, you'll know who else you have to follow up with. Now, under your feed, you have a few other tabs that relate to it. Any saved posts you have, any archived posts, any drafts, any posts you have pending approval. We're going to continue making our way down this menu bar. We're going to skip over messages for just a second and head down to the directory. And I want to show you a few different things you can do here. First of all, it's a directory, just like any other directory. So I can get information about my guardians, my students here. Just as a reminder, you will be able to see your guardians' information here, but when they look at it, they will not be able to see your contact information. So there's also this last access column, and this is what I want to look at right now. This will show me when each of the people in my school community have last logged in. So anyone who has a date next to their name has logged in. So Michael, for example, here has a date next to his name. He has logged in. You'll notice when I hover over his row, this little gear icon appears to the right. And if I hover over that, I have some options. One of them being to message me. So for anyone who has activated their account, I can send them a message from here. Asmahan here does not have a last access date. She has never activated her account. So when I hover over her gear icon, I can't message her, but what I can do is invite her. So if I click resend email SMS invitation, as long as she has a mobile number or an email in here, she just received an invitation. If her child's in my class, I can also print an invitation letter for her. So I'm going to go ahead and do that so you can see what that looks like. And this is a really great way for you to help parents, like I said earlier, for whom there is missing or incorrect contact information in Infinite Campus. So what it's going to do is it's going to give me the code that she needs to activate her account and the last name that's on file for her, because those two things need to match for her to activate her account. So if you are calling a parent or doing a home visit, I don't actually physically have to print out this invitation letter, but this is going to give me access to her code so that I can give it to her so that she can activate her account. And the nice thing is that once she does that, then she'll be prompted to add her phone number and add her email address and all that good stuff so that I, not only have her contact information, but have access to her in-school connects. So that is how you can print out an invitation letter for just one guardian. Now, the directory is also a really good place for you to come if you want to message your students' guardians, but you might not know their names, which we completely understand. You know your students' names, but not their guardians' names. So I'm going to use this search bar at the top, and I am going to search for one of my students. I want to message Scott's guardian. I'm going to click this little arrow next to his name, and both of the guardians affiliated with his account will come up. And let's say I want to message Jeff. I can come over here and send him a message. And then you'll notice it just popped me over here to this messages tab. So now it's going to bring up my entire message thread that I've had with Jeff, any information with him. I can send him another message. So if I know the name of the person I want to message, I can come directly here to messages and respond to a thread. But if you don't know the name, like I said, if it's a student's guardian and you don't know the name, you can do that directly through the directory. Okay. I'm going to jump down here to this groups tab, and this is kind of where we're going to spend the rest of our time together. So this is where I'm going to find all of the groups that I'm in. Any group with a flag icon is going to be a group that you own. So that means that you either were imported with this group from Infinite Campus or you created this group. So a couple things I want to show you. Let's look at Mrs. Matthews' class. So if I click on her class, it is going to give me a little snapshot of how School Connects is being used in my class. So I can see how many messages were sent in my class, how many posts were created, how many activations there have been. It's going to tell me a little bit about some of the posts I've created. So again, it's just going to give you a little snapshot of how it's being used. Now you'll notice that there are kind of these little gear icons everywhere, and under them there's a number of other things I can do. One of the ones I want to look at today is View Member Activity. So this is going to show me each of my students when they've last logged in. And again, for most of you, that's going to be never. And then each of their guardians and when they have last logged in. So what I'm looking at right now is a really very, very strong class. I can see that almost all of my guardians have logged in. Of course, this is a demo class. I know you'll have a lot more students in your class. And while I would love for every single guardian to log in, what I really want to make sure I have is one guardian for each student. So I have that here, but this is kind of like a dream situation. What you can do from here is you will almost certainly have some students who it says never for both of their guardians. And what you can do is you can kind of take that into your own hands here and you can invite them. So if I come up here to this gear icon, I can send email or SMS invitations. And I want to send them to my students' guardians. If I click this button, it's going to confirm what I want to do, because hypothetically you're sending these out to 40 guardians. I'm going to click OK, and then those email or SMS invitations are automatically going to go out. I can also do the same thing for those printed invitation letters. It'll print out all of the invitations for all of the guardians who have not yet activated their accounts. So again, this is a way that you can really take activation into your own hands and resend invitations as often as you'd like. it is important to kind of communicate with your school administration so that you know what their invitation plan is. We have some schools that are sending out invitations weekly. We have some schools that probably haven't sent them out since August. So you want to make sure that you're not sending them too often. But you can send them, like I said, whenever it's appropriate for your school and your class. A couple other things that I just want to draw your attention to. We're not going to go into too deep today, but another thing you can do, I just came back to my groups tab, and if I hover over that gear icon again, I can edit my group if I want to edit the name of my group, or if I need to add another staff member to it. If you need to add a whole new group, you can add a whole new group right up here. You can also edit your own profile. I'm going to come up here to my name and click my profile, and then I can edit it if you want to add your profile picture, or if you want to change your name in your profile so that it includes your role at your school, especially if you're not a classroom teacher. Guardians might want to send you a message if you're a school nurse or a school counselor, but they might not know your name. So again, if you're not a classroom teacher, sometimes people find it helpful to add the name of their role in the name of their profile. So I just kind of touched quickly on a few things that you can do that we're not going to go into much depth with today, but there is a OneDrive that JCPS has set up that has a number of resources. And my colleague is going to go ahead and put the link to that in the chat window. So if you want to know how to add a group, or you want more information about how to edit your group, there are literally step-by-step directions in this OneDrive. They're also available, the resources, on our website under resources. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So if you forget how to post news, you can click on posting news, and it's literally going to give you step-by-step directions on how to post news from the web, and then how to post news from mobile. So I know it's a lot of information today, kind of quickly, but that is, we have you covered if you do need to refer back to any of those resources. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that we were going to go over how you can increase activation in your class. This is something that, just so you know, we are in communication with your administrators on ways that they can do it for their entire school. But if you want to increase activation in your class, again, this is important because you can post news as much as you want, but it's only going to get to the parents who have activated their account. So we've celebrated them a lot already, but I'll give one more shout out to Kenwood Elementary School last week, and JCPS became our very first school ever to get 100% of their families on School Connects. So they can post any news they want, and they can have confidence that every single one of their families can get it. They can translate it. They can have it read aloud to them. They can message any family they need to in School Connects. So it really does just kind of give you the confidence of knowing that any information you send out is going to get to everyone. So if you want to have that same confidence in your class, here are some things that we have found that have been really successful for some of our highest achieving schools as far as activation. One of them is to enlist your support staff. So if you're a classroom teacher who is working with an instructional assistant, or you work really closely with a school counselor or someone else who, because of the virtual world we're in right now, isn't working with students all day, and they can help you reach out to families who haven't activated their accounts yet, that's a really great kind of resource for you. You can also make it an assignment. So, tell students that their parents have to activate their accounts. If you make it an assignment, they're probably going to do it. You can also post an assignment, or post information, or post some other opportunity in School Connects as a post. So if you shared a video with your class that they really liked, and you tell them that if their parents activate their accounts, they'll be able to see that video again. They're going to go home and they're going to, encourage their guardians to activate their accounts so they can see that video again. So you can kind of make it fun and get your students involved. Another one is just to be consistent. So if guardians know that the best place to reach you is on School Connects, and the best way to get information from you is in School Connects, they're going to activate their account. Sooner or later, they're going to have to. So as long as you're consistent with that messaging, they will find you here. And the last one is to celebrate successes. We've had a lot of teachers and a lot of classes who have had fun with, kind of every goal that they've reached. So if your goal is to hit 75% activation in your class, when you do that, celebrate it. You can post it on social media and tag us, and we'll celebrate you too. But celebrate those successes. publicly. So with your classes, with your schools, everyone's going to be excited for you. And if you do these things, it is really going to make a difference. So I know I am wrapping up on time, but thank you so much for joining us. Really quick next steps. If you haven't yet, definitely activate your account. Again, if you have any questions with that or questions about anything else, you can always email us. It's support@schoolconnects.com. That is a link that you are welcome to share with anyone. So we are your tech support through and through. If your families have questions, if any of the staff at your school have questions, they can email us at support@schoolconnects.com. And then I'm just going to check with my colleague to see if that OneDrive link is in there. And it is. So if you have any questions, you can always find resources on that OneDrive link. And that is everything we have for you today. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again for being such awesome partners. We've had so much fun with JCPS, and we can't wait to see where you guys go from here.
Thank you, Emily. I appreciate it. I learned a lot about School Connects today. I had heard good things, but I hadn't actually seen the presentation. So that was great. A great tool. I love the translation features, and I'm really glad that you celebrated Kenwood Elementary. I was going to mention that as well, that I just think it's amazing they got 100%. And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't like a parent kind of take the lead on that and help, get them the final push maybe?
Their parent liaison, Amy McDonald, has really worked hard with their school counselor and all of their staff. It was a big team effort, but yeah, they all got it together and got everyone on.
Great to hear. Well, I started my teaching career at Kenwood Elementary,
awesome.
and I am excited to see who the next JCPS school is going to be to get that 100%, and make sure to share that on Twitter, and we will celebrate you. So thank you very much, Emily. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
All right, next up we have, it looks like Hunter and Melissa from Savas are here to provide training on the Savas tools. Hunter and Melissa, you with us today? Hey, Melissa.
We are. Hi, and it's Savas.
That's good to know. I see it in print all the time, but I don't think I say it out loud that often.
Think
so, yes.
Savvy.
Okay. Savas. So not Savas, Savas. Okay, thank you.
Savas.
I'm glad you corrected me. I need to be saying that the right way.
I didn't correct you. I helped you.
You helped me. I appreciate the help. Thank you. Yes. And we also have Hunter. Hi, Hunter. How are you? Hunter, I think...
Hunter, you're so muted.
That's okay?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, there we are. Good morning.
Morning. Thanks for being here. We're excited about Savas.
Right.
Yes. All right. Good deal. Good deal. Okay, I got it. Which one of you is going to be presenting your screen? You both sound good.
Yeah, I am. So
okay.
I'll flip over to my front slide here. Let me know if I look good there. I've got my captions on already for you, so you don't have to.
Okay. Well done. Right now, I'm still seeing you. So waiting for present screen. Yeah.
Okay. I have used this before, believe it or not. There we go.
I do. We all have, even tech people have tech hiccups now and then.
There we go. Now we see it.
Looks good, and you have captions. You are ready to roll. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm curious. Well, first of all, what's your name, sir?
Hi, I'm Stephen Durham from the Digital Innovation Team here with JCPS. Yes.
Great, Stephen. Thank you for having us this morning. How many do we have on? Do you know?
It looks like right now we're 20, but okay. It may be more and it may be going up. I do know that we had people here earlier this morning that were interested in training. Yep, and they're popping up in the chat now.
Excellent. Well, I am glad folks are here. We're going to go ahead and get started. After we get through some just quick introductions, I think that we're probably going to turn our cams off just to, make the screen just as big and as readable as possible. So welcome, JCPS teachers. This is going to be your intro to a support feature that you have as a part of your partnership with Savas Learning Company. The support is offered through a website built for customers called My Savas Training. So this is the introduction today to that. So let's jump on into introductions. My name is Hunter. I'm a senior ed consultant with Savas Learning Company. Again, the website that we're going to be focusing on today is there for you on the screen. I've been with Savas for goodness, it's going on 19 years. It's been a great ride. I love what I do. I love getting to work with teachers every day. And I'm joining you today actually from upstate South Carolina. That's where I live and work out of my home office. So again, welcome everyone. I'm excited. We have lots to cover with you today. So grab a paper and pencil, take notes as you wish. And then we also have the illustrious Melissa Wills with us today. And so I'm going to turn it over to her to introduce herself.
I don't know if I can talk after that. Thanks, Hunter. My name is Melissa Wills. I'm also a senior ed consultant. I am trailing you, Hunter, but I am about to have my 16th anniversary with the company, and I am coming to you guys from South Alabama. So I will probably say y'all, so just get ready for it, okay?
We are in Kentucky, and y'all is totally allowed in Kentucky.
You
Yes.
know that word there. Yeah,
yes,
that's right.
we do know what that
You
means.
never know where the line is if y'all are y'allers or not.
Yes. Hunter, you both are looking and sounding great. If I can get you, Hunter, to down on the bottom of your screen where it says stop sharing and hide, if you could click that hide, that'd be great. That way we can see your closed captions. All right?
Yeah.
Looks good. Well, that's awesome. I love that you both have been with the company a long time. That shows that you must really enjoy it.
Absolutely.
We do. We certainly do. We want to start with a opening kind of getting to know you activity. So Melissa's going to do that for us. Just a second, Melissa, while I jump over and turn off my cam because I can't see that screen at the moment.
Okay. Oh, well, don't put me on there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't even know how to do that.
I'll turn mine off.
I can't. It won't let me turn it off. I don't know why.
Well,
Anyway.
Yeah, I
go-
think if you can go back to you were presenting, we did just see when you were presenting, I kind of am the camera guy, and I was only showing your screen. And then
It was always showing screen.
yeah,
like,
so you could
now
go back to,
it's the
yep,
screen.
it's just your
Okay.
screen.
There we go.
Yeah, you're good.
All
There
right,
we go.
excellent.
All right, excellent. So we wanted to get to know you guys, and instead of just what grade do you teach and that kind of stuff, we want to get to know a little bit about you as a teacher. So I'm going to need your help, Stephen. If you could help, if you guys will type in the chat, and Stephen, if you'll just let us know. But what's something that represents you as a teacher? It could be something physical. I know everybody loves their flare pens, but it could also be how you interact with your kids or how long you've been in the company or with your school, whatever. So, Stephen, what are you hearing?
I do have Russell Hockenberry with the Digital Innovation Team says, great meme. He likes the meme.
Oh, awesome.
And we have a library media specialist, Jessica Garvin is here. And I don't see, no one shared that thing yet. Come on, guys, jump in that chat and share the thing that kind of represents you as a teacher.
Again, it can be something physical. I'll go ahead and share mine. So maybe that'll kind of
That'd be good.
Start the conversation. I loved decorating my classroom just to have an engaging environment for my kids, games and books and all that kind of stuff to get my kids ready for that room. I still miss it every year as it's this time, back to school time, because I miss that, just getting everything ready and that new sharpened pencils and all that kind of stuff. So what about y'all?
I'm thinking about mine would probably be a piece of technology, either my MacBook or a smartphone, because not only do I help teachers with technology now, but I was a technology lab instructor for about 10 years at Bates Elementary. And I just think, I think technology is a great tool. It's, it's like, just like you want to have a good pencil when you're doing your schoolwork, you want to have some good technology and you want to know how to use that technology the right way.
Well, that kind of beautifully takes us to where we're going, Stephen, is how we're going to be able to translate what we're doing in the classroom to learning more about it. As we already know, y'all have a lot of things that are going on, learning a new way to teach with distance learning and all. So we wanted to kind of say, okay, you do these things as a teacher, we want to support you. And that's exactly what my Savvis training is. So Hunter is going to go ahead and let's talk about our agenda and everything. And I'm going to go off camera again. But I just wanted to make sure that you guys know we're here to support you as that teacher that you are, so that we know you can do your teacher stuff. We're here to support you as you're working with all of your SAVIS programs.
We did get a couple more answers.
Okay, good.
We have
good, yeah.
Jessica, of course, a librarian. She loves books, and yes, that's good. And then Russ Hockenberry actually said it's an unexpectedly hard question, to think of your teaching how to symbolize that physically. But Matt Balka said a video game controller because he loves gamification of teaching. So yes.
Nice. Yeah.
That's a great way to think about it.
I was a math and science teacher, and one of the things that I really love doing with my kids, if I was opening, say, a new science topic with my children or students, to bring in some type of physical demonstration so they could see the science happening in front of them and then get so curious as to, why is it happening that way? How is that doing that? That sort of stuff. And then, of course, that curiosity just led to the need to know. That was probably the thing that I loved doing so much more than anything, in my classroom, was getting them so curious about what's going on there.
So you probably got a couple of those faces there, Hunter, huh?
Yeah, I did. That's great. So, as I've mentioned, guys, our focus today is on the MySavvis training website and the support it provides. We do want to start by letting you know there are two types of support, basically, that you have access to with your Savvis Learning Company programs. The first one is your curriculum and training support here on the left side of the screen. That is, or the URL for that site is www.mysavvistraining.com. There's a little picture of the front page. And then there's also a technical support site and team that works to help you with anything you might run into in terms of little technical glitches or something's, maybe there's a, goodness forbid, there's a misspelled word in a question. We don't want that sort of thing. And so typos do happen. If you need to report anything like that and get some assistance with stuff like that, you're going to go to support.savvis.com. That is for our technical support. Our focus today is on MySavvis training. So that's where we'll be spending the majority of our time together this morning. We do have quite a word I'm looking for. We got quite a goal in terms of an agenda of things to cover today. So let's look at those items, and then we'll jump into the very first one. The first topic we want to cover with you in terms of the MySavvis training website is getting registered. Then we'll follow that by finding your programs. So whatever program, you see a number of them here on the screen, you are working with, or programs from Savvis, we want to be sure you know how to find the page that supports your program. Then we'll look at how do you locate training resources within that program page on MySavvis Training. Next up will be accessing your transcript. The website does track what you do there and provide certificates, things like that you can access for perhaps continuing education units, stuff like that you might need to submit to your district. So we'll want to be sure and point that out to you. There's a way to reach out to our team for help, and that is direct help for quick questions that you might have. We'll look at the features that are available for doing that. There are a number of great distance learning resources on the site. We want to be sure to point those out and take a look at a few of those with you. And then we'll wrap up with whatever time we have left with some Q&A. And then we're going to offer you an opportunity to tell us how your session with us went today through a survey. So with that said, I'm going to jump over to mysavvistraining.com right now. And we're going to start with this first topic, getting registered. So just a moment while I do that.
And while you're doing that, Hunter, I just want to point out, you don't have to do this live with us right now. Certainly, if you would like to, feel free. But if you want to be more of a note taker, you do your learning style. So if you want to go with us hands-on right now, feel free to go ahead and register as Hunter's walking through it. If not, sit back, relax, jot a few notes down, and you can register at any time, okay?
Absolutely. So you'll see here in the top left of my browser window, I am at mysavvistraining.com. That is the URL. So if you're wanting to follow us live, feel free to go there. I'm going to go ahead and go full screen now so that everything looks as large as it can so that you can see what I'm showing you today. So how do you get registered and what's the benefit? To register, once you're on the main page or the front page, you'll go here to the drop-down menu to the right of sign in, and you'll click create an account. Now, there are a couple of things that you're allowed to do once you create an account that you can't do on the site unless you have an account and you're signed in. Those two things that come to mind right off the top of my head are the chat feature that we'll be talking about in a little bit. That's the way you reach out to someone, or even you can send an email message to us with questions. The other thing is your transcript, the tracking that the website does based upon or tied to your profile or account. You go right here. It'll bring you to a short registration form. There's some of these that are very self-explanatory, so I won't hit them all, but I do want to be sure to point out a couple that are really important. Be sure to use your school email address. That helps us so much when questions come in to know, based on your email domain, what district you're with and where you are. I mean, we serve training offering come up. That's a live training offering on the MySavas training website. If you select the time zone that you're in, those training offerings will appear in your time zone for you. So you don't get confused. If you're, I think in Kentucky, you guys are probably on Central Time, I think.
Eastern. We're actually Eastern time here.
Eastern. Okay,
yes.
You're the same as us. But that time zone option is important. So be sure and select the correct one there. So once you fill out this form, you'll have to check the box that you understand that you'll have an activation link coming to you. Once you fill that out, click this checkbox and create user account. You will receive a page or account activation link in your email inbox. You'll click that and sign in. So you have to activate the account by way of that email activation link that you receive, and then you'll be able to sign in from there on. So I'm going to sign in as a demo account we use very often called Tammy Teacher. You'll see the username here, and I'm going to go ahead and click sign in. And now, once you're signed in, you will see your name instead of sign in the top right. All right. So I believe now we are ready to move on to the next topic up, which is how do I find the program page or the support page on MySavas training for my program? Melissa, I'm going to turn it over to you. I think you're going to cover for a moment here, one of the program pages. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a couple of different ways you can do that, depending on which one of our company's program use. But we're going to look at my perspectives. Now, I know you're working with science and social studies, so whichever one you're doing, it's going to work the same way. You actually don't even have to type it all the way out. Sometimes you can just start and then click that little search button, and that will find it. So even in my perspectives, MYP is enough, so you don't have to spell it out. I like little shortcuts all the time, don't y'all? So you can type that in there. Then whatever site you're on, again, whatever you've looked for, again, this is the secondary ELA, then this page is going to come up. So whichever, if it's science, social studies, whatever, then you want to find which version of the program you're using. You see how all these stars are empty there? And so I want to make a shortcut. I don't want to have to do this every single time. I like, again, like I said, shortcuts and things that are going to save me time. So Hunter's going to click in that star. We're going to get a bright green box that says added to your favorites. And so I now have the shortcut. I can click on programs and refresh my page and see it there. Or the next time I come in, you'll see it this way, and there's my little heart. And now I can go to my perspectives right there. And of course, as you can see, you can have many, many favorites. So every single program that you utilize, use that there. You also probably want to go ahead and do Savas Realize as well. But we'll talk about that in just a bit. So once you launch your page, here it is. And we have like categories or buckets or whatever you want to call them. So Hunter's going to scroll down so that we can see, there's going to be training and there's going to be, jump right in and scope and sequence. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you're going to see something that says view all trainings. So if you don't want to do it by the buckets, as I call them, and you want to be able to see more than just one thing at a time, click view all training, and it's going to take you to the page that has everything on one page all together. And that's the on-demand training tab. Those live trainings, as Hunter mentioned a minute ago, you see that virtual program training right there. You can click. If you missed it live, you can grab it and watch it there. So you see that blue box is going to be your play button. So you know that is a recorded piece that you can watch. And of course, the title would be there, whatever it is. So that virtual program activation is letting you know that it was something that happened live. The getting started is going to be much much shorter and very precise. Programmatic activation, building literacy, digital resources. So it's going to be a couple of, just a few minutes each of those, and it's going to be very directive into one specific kind of place. You can see some of those don't have the blue button. They only have the handout. So we just have a handy dandy form for you so that you can have, when I need a distance learning unit plan template, which is new, part of the distance learning we'll cover in a bit. Right there, I can do that and go to just the digital component. So heads up and watch out for those kind of things, because we've been working really hard on helping you guys with the distance learning components. So that's new as well. Scrolling on down, you can see some other recorded webinars. Actually, that's me right there, those recorded pieces. So if y'all want to hear a little bit more of me, then you can listen to that one. And then, of course, you just keep scrolling. Next steps, progress monitoring, all of those things are going to give you as you're ready for them to go. So it's not something I have to go and do everything on this page at one time. This is when you're ready for it, come back and grab a little bit more. I think of it as a buffet. And so when we come and you're ready for something else, I'm ready for next steps. Well, that's not what I'm ready for yet. I'm just getting started. Well, you're in the getting started tab. So that would be something that you're there for now. When you're ready for something else, you can scroll on down. On the right-hand side, in that lovely yellowy, goldeny color, there's some great goodies there. There's also going to give you some highlights if you're like, I don't even know where to begin. There's some educator picks that are going to give you some, hey, these are some highly used and some things that we really are suggesting for you, so you can kind of maybe start there. So this is a page for your program. Remember, you can make a favorite for every single program that you work with. And then Hunter's going to take us on a tour of the platform page, which our platform is called Realize, Sabbath Realize. So Hunter, go ahead. I think it's already in the favorites there, so you would make it a favorite the exact same way. So Hunter's going to scooch on over to the Realize page.
Yeah, and I just wanted to piggyback on something you were saying there, Melissa, about this first virtual program activation option. As you'll notice, these broadcast daily at certain times. So these two are 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. And the reason I wanted to take a moment to let you know a little bit more about these is because they have a feature built into them that allows you to send in chat questions during the session, during the live broadcast, that we will answer, of course, either during the session or shortly thereafter. So be aware of that. These that broadcast daily have that feature built into them. All right, yeah, we're going to look at now. By the way, all of your programs live, with the exception of one, Success Maker Focus, live and sit on a platform called Sabbath Realize. So let's be sure that we have Sabbath Realize as a favorite under our profile. I'm going to go back to the main page by clicking the My Sabbath Training logo, top left of the screen. I'm going to type in Realize, or choose it because I've typed it in before, and click Search. Now, there'll be few options to show up, but the one you want to choose currently is at the bottom. It's the Savas Realize option here. You can see that the star is already filled in, so it is already a favorite. So I don't have to add it, but you could, under your profile, once you create it, you would want to click that star, fill it in, and add it as a favorite. So that means that under programs, I should see the Savas Realize platform as one of my favorites. So I can click there, or of course I could have clicked here. That's going to take us to the support page on My Savas Training for your platform. And the platform means that, when we're talking about, the platform, there are a lot of common features to all of the programs that sit on this platform for Savas Realize. So as we make it our way over to the page, you'll notice you have several buckets here. One of them that I want to point out, because I know that you are a Google Classroom district, is that we have been selected by Google to have a seamless integration with the Google Classroom program or product. And this particular bucket would be a great spot to go to learn, one, how do I sync up my Realize platform with the Google Classroom system? What does that do? Well, I can tell you one of the things it does is it means that when you sync up, all of your students will just within seconds populate right into the Realize system under a class or within a class, the same class that you have in Google Classroom. So if you have a Google Classroom named Science Second Period and you sync that class with Savas Realize, then your Savas Realize system will also have that same class as soon as you sync it. So it's a really cool and very nice partnership that we have with Google for Education. I'm going to go on down to view all training. And what?
Hey, Hunter.
Yeah.
I just want to add, because I get this question all the time about Google, that tab there. There are videos in there for what it looks like for the teacher side and videos for what it looks like for the student side.
Yep.
So don't miss that bucket if that is for you. So just wanted to add that in. Sorry.
That's great
Absolutely.
information. Our teachers love knowing what the students are seeing on their end.
Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. And that is like you were saying, Stephen,
Oh,
extremely common
yes.
question from teachers across the country with regard to, you've shown me, what it looks like on Realize for a student, but what does it look like once I sync up with Google Classroom? And so we've got a tutorial there that you can use with students for that purpose. So I'm on the Savas Realize support page. Under My Savas Training, there are 3 areas. There's one for administrators, there are resources for teachers, and there are even resources here for students. So let's take a look at what's under teacher. You've got some of those same categories. Getting started. How do you self-register on Savas Realize? How do I create and manage classes or manage groups, manage assignments? Tons of tutorials. Many of these tutorials have step set handouts that go with them, just like on the product page that we looked at, My Perspectives. And then as you go on down, there's a Realize Reader section, which Realize Reader is the application within Realize or as a part of Realize that is used to read the e-text on the screen for students in a digital format. So there's a section there that'll help you with that. And then you'll see progress monitoring and reporting. And here's a Google integration section as well. So lots of great resources here that are built and ready to go day one for teachers. I'm going to close up the teacher section and quickly look at the student section. Under student, I believe there's going to be one here. Yeah, so these are all guides on, how do I find my programs as a student? How do I explore classes, work with assignments, participate in a discussion on the Realize system? So all of these are super helpful. You can use them at your per your decision, based on what you're doing with the Savvis Realize platform and your program. You could play these in whole group, whatever you need to do. Keep in mind, they are not assignable to students. So you might have to bring them up on a smart board or some type of whole group tool to see as a class or view as a group. Okay, so that is the Savvis Realize support page. Melissa, is there anything else that I might have missed with regard to that, or are we ready to move on over to the transcript?
I was going to ask Stephen if we had any questions before we moved on to the next section, because we talked about the program pages, and of course, every program page will follow that same layout. Is there anybody that wants to see a different program page? Or Stephen, do we have any questions?
I am keeping an eye on the chat, and everything's going well. No questions at this time. Thank you.
All right, good deal. So I know, again, both Hunter and I are former classroom teachers, and so we know there's that reality of, do I get credit for this?
Yeah.
Because we want you, again, to utilize your time well. And so as Hunter kind of stole my thunder a little bit there, thanks. But we do have a transcript. So when you watch a video, this 8 minutes here and 7 minutes there and 30 minutes here, that time adds up. And so where you're going to find your transcript is underneath where your name is. Pull that drop down, and right there it says training transcript. Now, before you click that, Hunter, that's all right. I just wanted, if you'll do the user profile, because I know sometimes I just had that thought of the user profile. Sometimes folks are like, oops, I have the wrong name, or not wrong name. I typed my name wrong or whatever, that kind of stuff. And so you can edit your profile right there and fix that. So I was just thinking that, because I get that question a lot too. My name has changed, or I need to change this, that, and the other. So you can edit your profile. Now, if you'll go back to the transcript, please. Thank you. So as you can see, Tammy Teacher's been busy. So as we are taking, again, 8 minutes here, 5 minutes there, you see that blue, looks like a little ribbon. Hunter, if you'll just pick a certificate and click on it. So sometimes you need a certificate. I had a little folder. I'm sure you've got a folder going. So you can print that off and have it there. It tells how long that course was. This course was 2 hours. So that must have been something that was live or whatever the case may be. But now I have this right here. And so I can print that up if I need it in that kind of way. Or, Hunter, if you'll go ahead and close that back up. At the bottom of the screen, as he scrolls down, again, 5 minutes here, 8 minutes there, all that time, that top stuff is live. So again, some of the sessions that you attend get a link that go with them. Scrolling on down, here's your on demand. So pull up another certificate there so we can see this one is, 7 minutes long, 7 minutes and 42 seconds. So we can see, the exact time there. And so, of course, like I said, all that adds up. And going back, if you'll close that back up again, thank you. Scrolling on down, you don't even have to do the math. Now, some of those you see are in progress. So if you don't complete it, of course, it's going to sit there and wait for you. But as you finish it, then scroll. Tammy's been busy, I said. And then it's going to give you the total amount of time. Look at that. 7 hours and 84. Now, again, a lot of us use this, but looky there where Hunter's pointing now, printer friendly version. And so again, if you're thinking, I don't want to have to print each one of those, then you can do that. And, just talk with your admins. Do you want it printed? Do you want it that way? Or whatever, but you can kind of keep track of it one way or the other so that it's going to, be able to give you credit. Now, Stephen, are we getting some woohoos for that? Are we excited about that?
I will give you a woohoo for that. That's great.
Awesome. So the great thing is, I will tell you, as you take the sessions that are recorded, those will automatically do those. If you do anything live and you take an assessment that goes with it, you do have to push the button at the end that says finish. So you take your assessment, and you can take it as many times as you need to if that is the case. And then you do have to click finish for it to come and be on this page here. There's a date range there. So if you want only something now, because, again, multi-years you'll be doing this, and I only want this year, then I could say this, because again, it might need to be in, whatever range you need to do for your certification, that kind of stuff. All right. Any questions about that in the transcript? How did we get to it? Click that drop down arrow under your name up there in the upper right corner, and then there you go. We good, Stephen?
All good.
All good. Awesome.
Excellent.
All right. Go ahead, Hunter. I was going to toss it to you, but go ahead and take it.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. So our next topic up within the My Savas training main topic is, how do you reach out for help when you've got a question? Right now you don't know what you don't know, but as you begin to get your feet wet with your programs and working with them and things like that, you're going to have questions. We know that. That's why we have this feature. And so you'll notice at the top of the screen, there is now a chat support option that is only there and available if you are signed in. So you have to have an account to get to this. You'll go to chat support to access it. And then you have two options. One is a live chat session. We really encourage you to do that because, sometimes getting a message from you, it's great. We know what your question is, but it may be that once we give you the answer, you may have a follow-up. If that's the case, then it could be 4 or 5 emails later that we finally get to the bottom of what you're really wanting. If you use this live chat feature, and it is live when this is green and blue. If it's not live at the moment, that just means our team, all of our members are, doing trainings with customers, like through webinars and that sort of thing. But it is live a lot of the time. So don't worry that it's never going to be, lit up for you. This is what signifies, the blue and green colors, that it is live. So I'm going to go there now and show you that, how it works. It will say select department. Just think of that as select my program. Select what program or platform my question is tied to. And so I'm going to choose, Success Maker. We haven't talked about or used Success Maker as an example yet. So I'm going to choose Success Maker. And then it has my name and email already built in. And I'm just going to type in a fake question here. Where can I get my login information? I'll start the chat. And also, Melissa is one of the team members that works with the Success Maker program. So she has signed in on the back end, our side of the system, and has answered our chat. So she starts with, "Hi, Tammy," and then she'll probably be able to send a message, "Give me just a moment to read your question." And then, of course, this is Hunter. Yes.
I'm teasing. I had to, play. I couldn't answer a real question.
I got it. Yep. So you can see this is immediate, real time, back and forth. Melissa's even able, from her end, to send you links through the chat. Screenshots is now an option in the chat system. We are super happy about that. So she is really able to do a lot here to help through this live chat system. Another thing is that I often find when monitoring chat that sometimes, chat just doesn't quite do the trick. And I will have the customer who's joined in and has the question join me on a quick online virtual meeting, like through Zoom, and just get to the bottom of it. Look at their screen and help them find exactly what they're looking for. So yes, once I have ended the chat, you can also email yourself, or once you end the chat, you can also email yourself the transcript of the chat. So in other words, if your support person gave you some steps to get to something and you want to have a record of that, send it to yourself. So you can and Melissa's also telling us I can also send you a handout. Yes, she can. So this is a really, really helpful feature when those questions come to mind once you have started using the program. So I'm going to just quickly thank you for sending Melissa a message. Thank you for your help. Have a great day. Submit that. Now on Melissa's side, she can end the chat, or I on my side can end it. I'm going to end it by clicking end chat. I can rate my support person. How did the session, how did the support from Melissa go? I'm going to give her 5 stars. Great job.
Thanks for my stars. I appreciate that.
There we go. Submit that. And then this is also where you can email yourself a transcript. You can print it out, that sort of thing.
This really is great that the teachers have a support system for using this tool. I know we have an integration branch, so basically normally if they have a tech issue, they call the integration branch. But this is great to have people that actually know the program and can help with the program. So thank you for that.
You are welcome. The second option here, I want to be sure and let you see that. If this is grayed out like it is now, so Melissa has signed off. She is not on the back end monitoring the chat at the moment. If that is the case, then you can leave a message. We do our very best to get back to you just as soon as we possibly can. As you can imagine, back to school is a super busy time, so we're working diligently to get back to everyone that's sending in questions, and there are a lot, folks. So it fills in your name and email address automatically. If you feel like you want to provide a phone number in case we need to reach out to you by phone, feel free to enter there. Select the program or product that your question is with regard to. So I'm going to choose my perspectives, and then you enter your message and send that to a training specialist or education consultant. We will get back to you as soon as possible, but it's as simple as that. Just type your question in, fill in the other 4 fields here if needed, and send it off.
And Stephen, with your question about the support side or the tech side of things, you notice it says chat and support. And so the right side of that, Hunter didn't mean to steal your thunder, but I wanted to tag in with what he was saying. As you're here with chat, think of it, the left side is your curriculum side. The right side is where you can click right there to get tech help. There's the phone number, and there's a handy dandy link right there that you can submit through email if you prefer to do it that way.
That's great.
Yeah, you might also see, just in case this throws you off, folks, on the PowerPoint slides, there's a couple of places that the product support phone number is provided. This phone number works, and so does the other one. So don't be thrown off that the phone number I have on my slides a little bit later is different. Both of them work. So any phone number you see for tech support that we're showing today works just fine. All right. Distance learning is a huge deal right now with all that we're dealing with the pandemic worldwide. And so we want to be sure and share some resources that we are providing to you completely free of charge through the MySavas training website.
Absolutely. And you're not going to be at a loss for where is that, because you see right underneath our logo, it says COVID-19. So it says that on every single page. That beautiful burgundy-ish color there is just on every single page. So you can easily get to that. So Hunter's going to click there. And this first page is going to be more generic, just distance learning. So as you scroll down a little bit, it's going to help with access to Realize. And of course, we've already, your kids probably already have that. But, of course, there's going to be other folks that need help with that. But there's questions there as well. Then, as you scroll down, you're going to see the programs now that are going to have some extra things available. It's not everything, but it is a good bit of stuff. So you see Miller and Levine biology, and as Hunter's scrolling slow enough that we don't get seasick, but there's Elevate. There's your Envision for your math side of things, and both my view and my perspectives are there to. I know it's going to take a while for him to get to M's, but Success Maker is on there as well. So there's my perspectives, there's my view, and there's Success Maker. Now, y'all are using Success Maker Focus, but still go through the Success Maker tab, and that'll do you good there. So any of those programs, so Stephen will let somebody type in which one they want to see. We'll take one as a sample, so we'll let you guys choose.
First response, first come, first serve.
All right, I'm checking. I haven't got a response yet. I did have a question. Are there any? So when a teacher's looking this, are there any tools that we aren't using or are not available for JCPS?
I don't know what you mean. Can you?
You mean like, are there programs like
that our teachers might be scrolling through that is like, no, JCPS doesn't have that or isn't using that? For example,
Yes.
You said that we're using one version of Study Island.
Of Success Maker.
Yeah, I'm
yes.
sorry. Yes, Success Maker, correct.
Yes, you are. In fact, when we go back to the wrap-up slide, you might want to take a screenshot of that. That has the programs that you guys are using on it. So good thought. We'll print that back out. But surely, you'll get more familiar with them as you're going through. So that might be a not fair question because you're like, I don't know what we're using. There's my view, or there's my world. So whichever one of those you want to click on. But as you get more familiar with it, maybe do My World because we've done literacy. So My World's got your social studies there. And so you'll click on whichever program, and then you can see right there, click here to access the at home. That button is so important because some of your pages are going to have more things on that page. See how you scroll down? Hunter, go ahead and scroll a little bit. See, it's got teaching remotely, printable resource guides. So there's some buckets or, things here, but don't miss that tab at the top. Click here for the at-home resources. That's the, money click right there. It's got videos and stuff. Now, are those things part of your program? Yes, they are. But here's a, kind of a way that we pulled things together. This is, happened right as COVID started. So we pulled these together very quickly. And so it might be a good dip your toe in way to start. You're like, oh, what's going to be a good digital distance learning way to do it? Well, there you go. So that could be a good place to start. So yes, there are going to be other programs on this page that you guys don't have. So when we go back to the wrap-up slide, take a picture of that and you'll know what programs you guys do have.
Great, thank you.
Sorry. I didn't mean to ask a question that y'all couldn't answer. I didn't know. I should have realized that y'all were just getting started and may not know all of the programs off the top of your head. Sorry about that.
No, all good. We're learning, and this is great that you're here to help teach us.
Absolutely. So you'll get those again as you get your resources and that kind of stuff. You'll learn more about them. But there it is on that tab, that free downloadable at-home resources there. And then Hunter, click back to the My Savvis training just to go back to the logo so that everybody can remember the COVID-19 tab right there. Now, I will give a little commercial, if you will. When you're in Realize, we have I can't say for every program, but a lot of our programs now have a new tab. I'm talking about Live and Realize.
I got it. Yeah.
There is a new tab with some distance learning stuff that we, again, this was our first step with it. We have taken new and further, whatever you want to call it, steps. And so in Realize itself, when you're literally in the program, there's a whole tab that say, these are the best things to do when you're doing distance learning. So again, got chat. So if you have questions, and remember that little question mark there, the question mark in Realize is helpful as well. And we'll get you back to chat. So That's helpful. And speaking of questions, Stephen, do we have any questions before we get to our wrap up and all that stuff?
No questions at this time.
All right.
Well, we may be giving folks a little bit of time back in their day today, Stephen, because we are at kind of the end of what we had prepared, but we do want everyone to know that this is your time now. Of course, if you saw something that you want us to review, go back, do again, show you how. This is the time to say so. So please, by all means, any questions that have come to mind so far, we are here, of course, until the top of the upcoming hour where we'll start this over. But yeah, just use this time to your benefit to ask any questions you might have.
Hey, Hunter, before you go back to the PowerPoint, why don't you go ahead and show where the chat, where the survey link is, so that we can do that right here. And I'm going to add it to the chat is what I was saying. I'm going to add this link, and Stephen, I know you're the only one that can see it, but if you want to add that for them, I just added in chat. There's the link for the survey. If you guys wouldn't mind filling that out, we'd appreciate it.
Oh, yes, I will get that in there for them.
Appreciate it.
Anytime, folks, that you take a Savvis Learning Company webinar training of any kind, you will want to let us know. We want to know how your experience was for that session. I know for the ones that I do that I receive surveys back, and you know, they're just so important to me. I read every single one. I want to know, what did I do well? And of course, what could I do better for you guys? So how do I get to it? In addition to the link that is being sent to you, if you're on the My Savvis training page, if you go all the way to the bottom, under services, I believe you go, because they've changed this recently. It's not event sign in. Is it contact us now, Melissa?
No, it's event sign in. That's where I just got it from.
Oh yeah, it is. They've okay, good. Yeah, so this brings us right to where we want to do, where we want to go. You'll click Let's Get Started, and I'll just show you this front page. You'll select your consultant. So for today's session, select one of the two of us, myself, Hunter, or Melissa. Where are you? There you are, Melissa Wills. Just try to, randomly choose one of the two of us. I know that it won't be a scientific thing, but we would at least appreciate you filling out the survey for either one of us. The product line that you can choose today, you could choose one of your programs, such as Elevate Science, or if you just want to choose, they don't have.
You just do other.
Could do other, yeah. Could do other, absolutely. The date, which of course would be today, and then how do you move through the survey? You just click this right arrow, bring you to your first question, and then so forth. Next question and next question. It shouldn't take you more than 3 or 4 minutes to finish this survey. It's pretty short. We appreciate it again so much. Stephen, before we do our wrap up, just want to check back in with you. Have there been any questions come in?
Yeah, we have. I posted the feedback link on there so they can fill out the feedback form. And Elizabeth Fuller did ask, can you show us again how to see what the students see on their screen?
Sure. So there's a couple of ways. The Realize support page on My Savvis training will help you with that. And then also anything that's any page that has to do with Google integration to the Realize system will help you with that. So I'm going to walk you through that, Elizabeth. I'm going to type in or enter Realize in the search, or I can go to my favorite. So let's use that tool to get there faster. Go to the heart, go down to Savvis Realize. And then, as we mentioned, you can choose a bucket, but that, filters out things to just what's in that bucket. What I like to do is go all the way to the bottom to view all training. That brings me to the on-demand training tab for that platform or the platform you're using called Savvis Realize. The student option or category under there is where you're going to find helpful resource video recordings on what things will look like and how to do certain things as a student. So how does the student see their program? How do they see their class? How do they work on assignments and submit them back to their teacher? How do they participate in a discussion that the teacher might assign them? How do they take a test? So on and so forth. So there's quite a few here. There's even a parent user guide that you could send to parents, for them to watch. So that's brand new, obviously, as you can see there, with the little new.
And in English and Spanish too. So.
Oh yeah, didn't even know. Yeah, there's a Spanish one below there. Good.
And I just added the Google Classroom link. I put that in there, Stephen, if you wouldn't mind sending that over to them as well.
Yeah, under teacher.
Melissa, sorry, if you can email me at steven.derm@jefferson.kyschools.us. I have, while we're broadcasting, the chat for this hangout is disabled, so I can't actually see that. So I grabbed the form from the website, but if you can email that to me, I will put it in
How do you
the
spell your last
YouTube
name?
chat. DURM.
DURM. Got it.
Thank you.
Sure.
One other resource, Elizabeth, that I thought was here, I wanted to make sure, on this same page, the SAVIS Realize support page, on my SAVIS training, in the teacher section, not the student section. If you scroll way down into Google integration, there's a video tutorial called The Student Experience in Google Classroom. This is a great one too, for helping students to understand, what things are going to look like for them. How do they access their assignments that live on Realize, but they access from Google Classroom. So
I am so glad that you all made those videos, because if you hadn't made those videos, my team would probably be working very hard right now to create those videos for the teachers. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. That's the idea. So, yeah.
And Stephen, are you STEVEN?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, well, we've just got a couple of minutes left, so let's go ahead and wrap this up because we want to make sure, get your phone out if you want to take a picture of the rest of the programs that you guys have available, so you at least know the logos and everything. So let us know if there's anything we can do with that.
Yeah, so what did we cover today? Just as a quick summary or wrap up, we looked at how you register on the mysavistraining.com website and the benefits of registering. How do you find your programs? How do you locate training resources for those programs? How do you access your transcript so that you know what you've done? You can grab a certificate, see how much time you have in the system in terms of training. How do you reach out to us for help? Quick chat in live real time or sending a message. The distance learning resources that are available on my SAVIS training, we explored those a little bit. Spent some time with Q&A. I appreciate Elizabeth and your question. Very helpful. That lets us know you're there, you're listening, you're engaged. So thank you for that. And we, of course, we're wrapping up now with the kind of what we covered today. I showed you this where and how to access the survey. So that will also, I think, Stephen has the link for that as well, and we'll be able to communicate that to you. So we thank you so very much. Again, as a reminder, please complete that survey for us. We appreciate your feedback. Choose one of us in the consultant that worked with you today field. Technical support, I promised you the phone number again, and you'll see it's different here. They both work, don't worry. The link or the URL that you're going to go to for curriculum and training support is www.mysavistraining.com. So let us know, folks, if there is anything else that we can ever do to help you there in Jefferson County. We want to do all we can. All of us at SAVIS Learning Company, thank you and want to be here as a support for you as you begin implementing our programs. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Hunter. Thank you, Melissa. I do want to let you know that even though we're providing this live during the teacher work day, and I know a lot of them are probably with their students right now, my team is going to take this video and we will cut up the day's live segment and edit it and get it on our JCPS digital learning channel so that teachers will be able to reference it at any time that they need to and are available to watch it.
Nice. That is awesome. You guys have it going on over there. I tell you.
We're celebrities then. We're going to be on your YouTube channel.
You are. It is how I explain to my kids what I do. Like, I'm live on YouTube today. They're like, "What, are you a YouTube star?" Sure.
Sure,
We call it
absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
All right, well, Stephen, I'm sending you an email with all the stuff we talked about. I included product support there as well so that you could share that with everybody as well. So I just sent that.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate all that information. I know we had teachers today learning with us, and I know we will have them learning on demand when they are able to watch the video. We'll get that posted within the next 24 hours on the JCPS Digital Learning channel. So thank you very much. Did you say, are you going to be back at 11 o'clock, or is there a different team coming back at 11 o'clock for the training?
You're stuck with us. We're going to turn around and do it again. I thought it was right now.
It is right now. I thought you said top of the hour, so I was already thinking what video I was going to play. Okay, so this is good. For the video edit, this is good that we'll all go back and we'll just start it over again, and then whichever video's best. They're both. I'm sure they'll both be good, but I'll get one of them up there. All right.
Best of.
Yes, I'm Stephen Durham. I'm with the Digital Integration team, and we are here today with the Savas training team of Hunter and man. Okay, we'll edit that out. Watch, we'll just edit that. Okay. Okay, I'm ready now.
Just start over.
Okay, cut and. Hi, everyone. I'm Stephen Durham with the JCPS Digital Innovation Team, and I am here with the trainers from Savas who are going to talk to us today about all the features of the Savas platform and tool. And and feel free to ask any questions you want in the chat, and I will make sure to relay those questions to them. So, Hunter and Melissa, thanks for joining us again at this time.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Hi, Stephen again. Thank you so much. I'm going to just make sure I do this right this time, Stephen. I'm going to share my screen for you.
Okay.
And then I'm going to jump over to my PowerPoint, which I had at the end.
Yep. And you got the hide and you're good. Just start that PowerPoint over. It should be good to go.
There we go. Yeah. You're going to have to do a little bit of editing on this one. I apologize. I thought I had it queued up right. There we go. All right, folks.
All good.
Welcome, JCPS teachers. We are happy to be here with you, and we are excited to be here with you. This is going to be a session introducing you to a support feature that we offer at Savas Learning Company called My Savas Training. My Savas Training is a website that provides digital resources, videos, handouts that will be a support to you as you begin implementing and working with Savas programs. So with that, as a just kind of brief overview of what we're going to talk about, we're going to take a moment to introduce ourselves, and then we've got a little opening activity to get to know you as well. So my name is Hunter. I'm a senior ed consultant with Savas Learning Company. My goodness, I have been with the company now for going on 19 years. I may have already crossed that anniversary and I don't even realize it. It's just, I just love what I do, and I'm not even counting the days or years anymore. It's just a joy and a pleasure to get to work with teachers and impact student learning every day. So welcome. We're happy to be here. We've got quite a bit to cover today. So hang on. We're getting to our content here in just a moment. We also have the renowned Melissa Wills with us here today as well, my partner in crime. Melissa.
Good morning, everybody. I am Melissa Wills, and I am also a senior ed consultant, and been with the company just under you, Hunter, just a little shy. I'm right at 16 years, so I'm chasing you. But Hunter and I have been working together for just about that amount of time as well. So glad to be able to work with you all today. I'm coming to you from South Alabama. Hunter's in North Carolina, and so we're glad to work with you guys in Kentucky. Hey, there you go. We're all of us together. There you go.
Great. Thanks, Melissa. I'm actually in upstate South Carolina, but I'm less
Oh, you're right. I
Yeah,
said it
that's
wrong.
all right.
You always
I'm-
say north corner, and so I said it wrong.
Yeah, yeah. I'm less than an hour from the border, so
He
no big
just
deal.
moved, so that I'm gonna take that. So,
Uh,
so we want to get to know you guys. We know where you are, but we want to get to know a little bit more about you. So, I want to know something that represents you as a teacher. It could be something literal. I know everybody loves their flare pens and that kind of stuff. So it could be, the first thing you think of when you think of yourself in the classroom and your kids, or it could be how you interact with your students. It could be, anything in between. So, what's something that you think of that represents you as a teacher? In our last session, we got really deep. And some people were like, wow, that's a deep question. And it can be, but I just want to get to know you guys and what you're thinking. So, Stephen, what do we have coming in?
Well, I'll give them a second. And actually, another thing to let you know, the YouTube channel does run on a slight delay. So, like when we say ask them a question, they're maybe just now hearing the question on the YouTube channel and able to answer in that chat. But while they're answering in the chat, I will share mine. I would. This is the second time I've been asked it, so I had a chance to give it some thought. It is a challenging question, but I would go with my laptop, my MacBook, because not only do I love technology, I teach teachers how to use technology. Before that, I was teaching students how to use technology. It's a great tool, but I think digital citizenship is so important. We have this tool, but we need to make sure that people are using it the right way, because used correctly, technology a wonderful thing, but we know it can also be used to not be so great. And so I'm a strong believer in digital citizenship. So yes, that would be definitely a laptop.
I like the way you say that, digital citizenship. So, do we have any in yet? Any answers?
Nothing yet. I will share. Last session I had Matt Balka, who leads up our esports here in JCPS. He shared a video game controller because he loves gamification, and we are seeing more of that, especially since we are doing so many things virtually. That using badging and gamification in different programs is becoming something we're seeing teachers get engaged in, which is great.
Right. My answer for myself, of course, back classroom time, but I'm going to pull it into distance learning. But I loved getting my room ready, the decorating and get the games and the books and everything ready to make it a very engaging. So I know that that's a challenge now, because some of you might be like me going, where's my stuff? And so we can rely on folks like Stephen to say, okay, how can I pull it in and now do it digitally? And also, of course, with your Savvis programs that you're going to be able to use, we have games, we have ways that you can assign, we have things that you can do that way. So we want to support you as a teacher, and so that you can use your stuff as a teacher and know that we're here to support you. And that's the purpose of my Savvis training. I want to check one more time. Stephen, do we have any answers?
Rebecca Reynolds says a computer mouse. She loves to click. Yeah, she loves to click and explore.
There you go. And that's a great thing for our kids. So Hunter, you want to share yours?
Sure. I was a math science teacher at the middle school level, and what I really loved the most was any type of demonstration, especially when opening, say, a science topic that we were going to be working on for the next few weeks, doing some type of demonstration that just wowed the kids, got them curious, what's happening there? Why is that doing it that way? And, that sort of stuff. And then, of course, that just led to curious minds, teachable minds, and they just had so many questions and wanted to figure out how the world was basically working the way it was. So that is mine. If we haven't gotten any other responses, Stephen, we will move on, but we of course invite you to share any that have come in.
Yeah, I think we're ready to move on.
All right, great. So we are going to be focusing on one side of your Savvis support called curriculum support today. There are two areas, though, that we want to be sure to draw your attention to, and of course, kind of make make the distinction or the difference. The first is curriculum support. That's the one we're going to be focusing on. The URL for that is mysavvistraining.com. It is not the Savvis product, but it's support for you, administrators, and even students on the My Savvis training. The My Savvis, the Savvis Learning Company programs. I'm going to get this out correctly here in a second. There we go. Now, in terms of technical support, if you hit a glitch or there's something not working as it should, there is a way to reach out to technical support through support.savvis.com. So that team is best suited for anything that you might have a need or issue with regard to technical type things. So what's our agenda? What are we going to cover? We have quite a goal in terms of what we're going to cover today. So let's take a look. We're going to show you how you get registered on the My Savvis Training website and the benefits of registering. How to find your program support page on the My Savvis Training website. So, if you're using Success Maker Focus or My Perspectives or any of the programs that you have that you see here on the screen in Jefferson County, how do you find that page and the support that goes with it on mysavvistraining.com? Locating the training resources on that page will be next up. Then, how do I access my transcript? I want to know, I want to get credit for my time that I'm spending learning more about Savvis and the program. So how do I access a transcript? We'll show you that. How do I contact these guys that can help me for help? We'll talk about the chat feature when we get there. And then, as we know, we are in such challenging times with regard to the pandemic that we're all experiencing worldwide. And that has brought us to a shift, an enormous shift to distance learning. So we have a lot of resources that we've made available to you completely free of charge through the My Savvis Training website. We'll want to be sure and explore a few of those and show you how to access them. And then we'll probably have a few minutes left for question and answers if we need to go back and show you how to access this or that, whatever you might want to see how to do again. That will be your time for asking questions. And then we will wrap up, provide you a way to send feedback to us about your experience in the training today. We value that. And of course, thank you for filling that out for us.
Hey, Hunter. Oh,
Yeah.
Can we go back real quick?
Absolutely.
We found in the last session that a lot of you guys are new to the programs and not necessarily know all their names. So if you want to grab your phone and take a picture of this, that at least will give you a heads up of the different programs that are available. My Perspectives, My View, Success Maker Focus, My World Interactive, Envision for the math side, and Elevate Science and Miller and Levine Biology. Those are the programs that you guys are going to be working with. A question came up in the first session. Are there other things in the My Savvis Training website? Yes, there are. We do have other programs in these. So grab a picture of those or jot those down real quick so that you'll know which specific programs you're going to be working with on the site. So just want to give them a second to get that.
Yep, great point. And I believe that there are also a couple of high school titles that may not be on this screen. But whatever the name of your textbook is, we will show you how to find that program when we get to that part of our content today based on the name of your text. So just keep that in mind. This is the large majority of them. Okay, so I believe, Melissa, we are ready to go live over to mysavvistraining.com. So I'm going to switch over there.
All right. While you're doing that, we do want to let you know that it is certainly your choice if you would like to log in and go live hands-on with us. It just depends on what kind of learning style you have. If you're more of a note taker and want to go in live later and create your account and all the stuff that we're doing now, you do you, okay? So you can join us live as we're doing it now, or you can just sit back and relax. I know Stephen's already talked about there'll be a recording y'all can watch later if you have questions or want to review something. We got you covered, okay? So you can do any way that you prefer.
Actually,
Right.
I wanted to let you all know that we've had hundreds of views last week on the recordings from last week that we put up on the
Awesome.
channel. So
Great.
people are checking it out. I know you're getting ready to talk about the sign-in process. I do have James Franklin says he's having issues with logging in. He reset his password and it's still not working. Is that chat support available even if you can't get, if you aren't signed in? Can you go to the chat and get chat support on that?
It's not, but I'm
Okay.
wondering if you could clarify what he's having trouble signing into. Is it the My Savas training website? Is it Success Maker Focus?
Okay,
Is it-
I will check.
yeah. And then based on that, Stephen, we can offer another way for him to get some help. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Thanks. Yeah. So I am at mysavistraining.com. This extra stuff here I'll take off and just reload. So you see that's the only thing you've got to put into your address field in your browser, mysavistraining.com. That will bring you to the front page. So I'm going to go full screen on that website now so you can see everything in full view. The first thing we want to talk about is getting registered. So how do you register for an account on My Savas Training, and what are the benefits of that? There are loads of resources here, first of all, and most of them you have access to through My Savas Training without signing in, most of them. There are two, though, that you have to have an account and be signed in to have access to that I can think of off the top of my head. I think there are only two. The first one is the chat support feature, the real-time chat support feature we're going to be talking about a little bit later. The second one is your training transcript, which we're also going to be talking about in a few minutes. So those two, which I think of as extremely valuable to you as teachers, those two will be available because to you once signed in, because they're tied to your profile, to your account. We have to know who you are to answer a question about a program, and we have to know who you are to tie any time that you spend on the website to your account. So how do you create an account? If you don't have one, you'll go up here to the sign in button, the drop down menu to the right of it, click there, and then you'll click on create account. It's very simple. There's a short form that we ask you fill out. Most of these fields are self-explanatory, but I do want to bring your attention to a couple that are very important that you fill in correctly. Please use your school email address, because when you come into the live chat, knowing that you're a JCPS teacher helps us know where you are, and perhaps even a little bit about, what programs you're using or what you're doing with our programs. So be sure and put in that email address for us, the school email, your district email, and then your state and time zone is also helpful. That helps you as you're navigating the My Savas Training site and you see an offering that is broadcasting, say, daily at 10 a.m., it's going to appear for you in the time zone that you select. So be sure that you select the correct time zone. We'd hate for you to show up an hour too late for something that you're expecting to do at that time because this time zone isn't right. Once you check this checkbox off, and basically what you're saying there is you understand that in order to activate your account, you'll receive an activation link by email. You'll click that link, that will activate your account, and from then on, you can simply sign in using the username and password that you put in right here on your create an account page. So with that, you'll click create user account. That activation link will come by email, and you'll follow that link.
So they
So
really
now-
won't. I'm sorry, Hunter.
Yeah.
So James said that he's tried logging into My Savas Training.
Yeah.
It's going to be a habit I'm going to have to break.
That's all right.
And that it says that awaiting activation. So
Got it. Yeah. So what he should do is go. Does he say anything about receipt? He didn't receive the email.
that I'll actually ask him that right now. But yeah, so it looks
Yeah.
like he's awaiting activation of his account.
Yeah. So have him, if he hasn't already, search his email for that activation link that he should have gotten.
Okay.
If and I believe I'd be correct here, if he didn't get it, it could be in his spam folder. It could be also, Stephen, that he just kind of inadvertently made an error when typing in his email address. And all he would have to do then is just try to re-register, be sure that email address is correct so that he does receive that email address. I mean, that email with the activation link. Those are the thoughts I have in helping him get past that sign in. Melissa, any other thoughts from you?
Nope, you said everything I was thinking. So
Okay, yeah.
So he probably got might have gotten an account created correctly and just never somehow missed that activation email. So that's good to know, to let our teachers know. Okay, thank you.
All right, so I'm going to sign in to an account we use for demo purposes called Tammy Teacher. And so I'll click sign in here. And now, once you're signed in, once you've created your account, you don't have to do that right now. Don't worry. You can do that later if it's kind of taking up your time and you're not done. But once you are signed in, your name will appear in the top right. That's how you know you're in under your account. The next topic up that we want to be sure you're aware of is how to find your program. So if you work with Elevate Science, you could go right here to find your program and type in Elevate and hit the little magnifying glass. There's another program that you're using in Jefferson County called My Perspectives. And so you don't even have to type the full name of the product in. You could type in My P, for example. Hit the search button, the magnifying glass, and it will run a search for all programs that match those three letters, MYP. And you'll notice that there are a few. You'll have to be sure that you identify the one you're using. And in this case, it's just the My Perspectives, the one titled My Perspectives. Now, in the last session, I already had filled in that star. So I'm going to unfill it in, or defill it in, if you will, if those are words, by clicking it. That is what will show up for you. It'll be an empty star with just kind of the outline of a star. What does this star do? Well, it adds that program as a favorite under your profile so that you don't have to run that search every time. So you'll want to click that star. Then you'll get a bright green message that has been added to your favorites. And from then on, anytime you come to this page, you get signed in, all you have to do is go to this heart. And we've got a lot of favorites in under this demo profile, Tammy Teacher. But you'll notice My Perspective. Sure enough, it's there. It's one of the programs that I have under my profile. And you can simply click it, and immediately you'll be taken to that program support page on My Savage Training.
And we love that you can have more than one thing, because you've got science, you've got social studies, you've got math, you've got ELA. So you have all of these different things, and Success Maker Focus. So you can have whatever you teach, all of those available, as well as Savas Realize, which Hunter's going to talk to you about in just a minute. So when you get to the page of whatever program you're using, Hunter's going to scroll down just a little bit so you can see. I call them buckets. You can call them tabs or categories or folders, or whatever wording you want to do. But you can click Let's Get Digital or My Perspectives Plus or whatever it is. I prefer to go down to that bottom where it says View All Training. I want to see it all. So let's just click there. And that way I have access to all of those buckets, but all on one page. So again, everybody's a little different. So you do it the way you like. This way we can see everything that's available on the page. Now there are going to be some live trainings available, as you see here in this virtual program activation at the top. These are, you see the times. That's why your Eastern time is important to show there. So you'll know, oh, I didn't miss it because it was 10 Eastern or Central or whatever, that you can join in for those. Or there are recorded pieces on here so that you can, of course, do them on demand anytime that you would like. So you can jump on those live sessions at that hour. Or you can say, hey, look at all of these things that I have available. Obviously, in the blue box, you see that little universal play button, if you will. So you can see that that is a recording. Right beside that is a handout. Some of them have one or the other. Some of them have both. So I can go to student-centered unit structure and I can watch it, or I can get the handout, or I can have the handout as I watch it. So you've got lots of options. As we said before, you do you. If you would rather watch it and I don't need the handout, or vice versa, if I just want to look at the handout, I don't need to watch it. There you go. So lots and lots of choices. We kind of have them in categories to help. So you see getting started here. So of course that's going to help you get going. I will point out at the end of getting started, so don't go any further, Hunter.
Sorry. Yep.
Distance learning at the very bottom there. Of course, we're going to talk about distance learning in just a bit. But while we're on this page, a lot of our programs have really beefed up or have even a new tab on Realize in the platform itself, where we have pulled out these are the best resources for you to use while you're distance learning with your kiddos. So here's some things here, like here's a template to use, things to work with your parents and guardians, that kind of stuff. So be sure and look for that, because again, we're trying to help as best we can with the circumstance that we've all found ourselves in, that we want to again support you. Recorded webinars. This is something that has already been recorded that you can watch. Actually, that one is me. So if you miss me later on, you can come back and listen to it. About the reports and the data. And then, of course, next steps. So when you're ready for something else, I think of it as a buffet. You're not ready for next steps when you first start with My Perspectives or whatever program you're using. But when I'm ready for the next thing, I can go ahead and go. I'm going to start, of course, with getting started. But when I've got that under my belt and I'm ready for something else off the buffet to go back, then you can keep scrolling. Look at the data. Look at next steps and see what are some extra things that I can do with my with the program, how I can work with it again, an extra helping or whatever you want to call it, as we go further and as time progresses. Now, Hunter's going to talk in a little bit about some specific ways to ask questions and that kind of stuff, so that you're not alone. Whenever you're watching that, you're going, I don't know what's happening. Now, of course, the live sessions there under the virtual program activation have a way for you to type in your questions as you're going with those. But as you're watching the recorded pieces, of course, it's recorded. And so hang tight. We'll show you how to ask your questions that way, okay? Always look on the right-hand side as well. You can see here on-site training resources, some specific things that might help. The educator picks, there's going to be the top use, that kind of stuff. So it's just got some extra little goodies for you there on the side. So Stephen, any questions? I know we've got a little bit delay, but any questions on what we've covered up to this point, or we'll check again probably after Realize to see any questions on this page.
There was a little back and forth in the chat with James helping him work out his getting his account created. He did say that and something you probably know, but we can share in the future. He says at the bottom of his changed password, he noticed he can set up a meeting with Savas support team. So that's good to know. So he's going to try that, and they'll get him sorted on his account, which is great.
Perfect. Yeah.
Good job. All right. So, folks, all of the programs that you're using in Jefferson County Public Schools, except for one called Success Maker Focus, all of the others sit on and live on a platform called Savas Realize. So basically, what that means is that platform as best as we can possibly get you to. So how do you get training and support on the platform? Well, what I would suggest is, since you're probably going to be just setting up your account, is from the main page by going to this My Savas Training logo, get back to the main page, and then go to find your program, the search area, and enter Realize. That's the name of the platform. Run the search. And then there'll be several that will match, because in the name of the program, it says on Savas Realize. So we've got a few matches there. The one you're wanting to get to is just Savvis Realize. It's currently the last one in the search results. Again, I had already added it in our previous session as a favorite. Yours will be empty. Your star will be empty. Be sure and click it. That will make it a favorite, just like I've done there. And then under programs, or from the main page under the heart, like we did a moment ago, we will see Savvis Realize as one of our favorites. So there it is, Savvis Realize. That will get us to the platform support page on My Savvis Training. So just as with programs, the textbook titles and the digital resources that are available alongside those textbook titles, we have buckets. And so one of the buckets that I do want to point out here is the Savvis Realize integration with Google Classroom or Google for Education bucket. That's going to contain resources, and I know that you are a Google Classroom district in JCPS, so that's why I want to point it out. That particular bucket or category is going to give you resources that will show you how to seamlessly integrate your Google Classroom classes with the Savvis Realize platform. So what does that do for you? Well, first of all, it populates the Savvis Realize system with your classes and their respective student accounts within seconds. It's amazing. It's so easy to do, and you don't have to, manually hand enter first name, last name, username, password. You can just sync them up and they're there. Boom. The other thing it does is it allows you, once you have synced and your classes are there with the students, and you as a teacher are in Savvis Realize, to push assignments over to your Google Classroom interface that the students will be using to access the assignments. So if, in Google Classroom, when the student signs in, you may have assigned a worksheet that is not a Savvis Realize resource, but then you also assign a Savvis Realize resource. That's going to show up there too for them. So that bucket will help you tremendously with running that or establishing that sync. And then in addition to that, how it works thereafter for you. How do you make an assignment to a Google Classroom? How do you check on that assignment and see the results? All of that is in this area. I'm going to go on down to view all training. And that's going to take us to the Savvis Realize support page on My Savvis Training, the platform support page. And it jumps right to the on-demand training tab. There are 3 categories here: administrator, teacher, and student. And the 2 that really will apply to you as teachers will be the 2 that say teacher and student. So I want to open the teacher section up. You'll see there are 56 different resources here. There are tutorials, there are handouts. Many of the video tutorials have handouts to go with them. So this one on getting started with Realize, how to navigate content, has a video tutorial and essentially a step set handout that goes along with it. Just like with the program page that we looked at for My Perspectives. How do you manage assignments? What is the My Library section? That's a fairly new feature from last summer and a great feature. So you want to check that out. As you move on down, you'll see a category called Realize Reader. And Realize Reader is really the reader for the e-text for you and students that Realize uses to access the e-text digitally. It's a mirror of your textbook, plus it's interactive. So it's got, links, and it's got photos, and it's got videos that are tied into it. So it's got everything in the print that's in the print copy, plus some interactive areas as well. So you want to check that out and learn how to use that. How do you monitor student progress and see, class and student data, score, review, and how to score and review assignments? Then there's a section below there called Google Integration. And one of the things, they're all great, but there is one that I want to point out called the Student Experience in Google Classroom. This will be so helpful It's a video that you could play in whole group to get the students acquainted with how to access and assignments from Google Classroom that live on Realize. And it's within just a few seconds, your students will click on a Realize assignment that shows up in their Google Classroom. It'll jump right over to Realize and bring up that assignment for them. And this will show them how that's done. It's very simple. So let me see here. Just want to scroll a little bit more and see if I might have missed something. Oh yeah. So the one category we've looked at is the teacher category. And so we also want to open the student category because there's lots of great video tutorials in here for students on how to browse programs, how to explore classes, how to take or participate in a class discussion that's been assigned, and others. So there's even a parent user guide in English and in Spanish here. These are brand new, by the way. You see the new not button, but the word new is there, just to let you know that that's new to the site.
I couldn't think of anything either, so I was like, the box that says new.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. So that is locating training resources for your platform called Realize. Melissa, you are next up for the transcripts.
Absolutely. But let's check in. Stephen, do we have any questions or anything before we leave either a program page or platform page? Any questions?
No, I think you're covering it great. One thing I did want to say, yes, our district, we do, especially during NTI, our recommended digital tool for teachers is Google Classroom to assign things. But we do try, we are a digitally agile district. We have schools that are using all Apple products with iPads. We experimented with Microsoft Teams, and we still have Teams meetings, and we still have people that are using Microsoft products. So we aren't just locked into Google, but Google Classroom is the recommended tool. Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah. And, you know, we were so proud when Google chose us as their kind of flagship LMS to partner with. It is truly, I mean, I'm just so glad that they chose us because it works so well, you know, and so I just wanted to be sure that they know that that's theirs. And
yes, and I'm very glad that that it works similar. Like when we were kind of playing around with this, I'm like, okay, my teachers that know how to use Google Classroom, it's not going to be a big jump for them. It's very similar in how it works, and then it works with Google Classroom. So yeah, we had this NTI, this non-traditional instruction, has been a crash course in Google Classroom for many of our teachers. They went from not much experience to being really proficient with it. So I think it's going to work great in translating to how they're able to use this tool.
Well, there's no other group of folks that can be as flexible as teachers. You know, we learned that as if we didn't already know. We learned that when everything shut down and here, do it a different way. You have 5 minutes. Go.
Without a doubt. I'm a big fan of teachers. My wife's a teacher. I know teachers can do amazing things, but it was really something seeing what they did and how quickly they adapted and to able to get it done and what's best for the kids. So yes.
Absolutely. And there are a lot of resources. We're going to talk about them a little bit more in the distance learning, the things that are available. So hang tight on that. But we want to make sure that you know that we have you covered in that. We also want to be realistic because I know that you're probably also going, do I get credit for this? I remember my days, Hunter, same thing. And Stephen said too, you know, I heard him say earlier, you know, yes, we want the information and we want to do our best for our kids, but you know we have accreditation or we have to keep our certificate up or whatever y'all call it. And so we want to be real about that and that we do have a transcript. So woohoo! Underneath your name, you're going to have that little drop down button. Now, before we click on the transcript, note that it says user profile. So if you see, oh no, I've got a typo, or your name has changed or something else, and you need to make sure it's correct for that certificate or whatever that you're keeping track of, just go in there, edit your profile, boom, you're good to go. Okay, so you're not stuck with whatever you started with. As things change or whatever, you're good to go. Okay, so underneath again, pull the drop down. You can go to my transcript, training transcript, whatever, and that will take you over to your transcript page. Now, there's two kinds of classes or courses or whatever you want to call it that we have here. There are live sessions that you can do. Not all of them, but some of them will have a link that you will do, about 5 questions that you'll answer. Again, not every session you take live has this available, only some, okay? But you can see there, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, and that will give you a certificate for that kind of session. Keep scrolling down. That says live. The next one down says, Tammy's been busy. Look at all this stuff on demand. So these are the ones when you watch something on there, you don't have to do anything. Boom, it automatically goes to your transcript. And now, obviously, sometimes we know we start something and we don't quite finish it. So if you haven't finished it, it'll say in progress. Guess what? You can go right back to it and it'll pick up. It'll say, do you want to pick up where you left off or do you want to start over? So, that's a great thing there. That you can, depending on how long ago you started it, you can start over or pick right back up. But you see the ones you completed, obviously you get a certificate for. Now we see this first one is just under 8 minutes. But 8 minutes here and 15 minutes there and 20 minutes here and that kind of stuff, that time adds up. So here's your certificate. You can print it out if you keep a folder, that kind of thing, or keep scrolling and there's a nice emailed way that you can send it. So again, Tammy's been busy. A lot of us shared this one as our one. So look at that total time. Again, half of part of it being live and part of it being the recorded pieces. But you can click that print friendly version and you can do that there and be able to get however you want to do it, printing it out if you need a literal certificate, or there's a digital copy for you. Scroll back up to the top, if you will, Hunter, because we know years and years and years will pile up. And I know that you have probably certain things. What did I do this year? What did I do as you're working on the years of your certification, whatever the case may be. And so it could be, what have I done since, this whatever. And so you can type in whatever dates and get that range and it'll pull the stuff in that category. So that's helpful if you need to see what have I done since, X date to here, then you can pull that and see what is available so that you don't have to do any kind of math or you don't have to do any kind of pulling them out. Is very handy. So love the fact that it keeps track for you. And will be able to automatically say, hey, you watch this, this, and this, and give you that. Now it's going to tell you the link, the length in the certificate to let you know it's 2 hours if it was a live session, or hey, it was 8 minutes or whatever. But again, I want you to get credit for that time. So now, we talked about as you're watching something that is recorded, we know you're going to have questions. And what are you going to do? It's recorded. Nobody's there right there live with you. So we got your back. We have that chat feature that Hunter's going to talk to us about. And as you have questions after you're working with it or whatever, Hunter, tell us how they can get some help.
Absolutely. So right now, as you're just kind of learning what programs you're going to be using, you don't know what you don't know yet. And so, you may not have specific Elevate Science or My Perspectives questions quite yet. That's why this site is designed to not just be support in getting started, but continued training and support throughout your implementation. And one of the features that is accessible once you've created an account and signed in is the chat support feature right here. That button shows up once you've signed in. So I'm going to go there and show you how this works. I'm going to click chat support. And right here, you'll notice a button that says try chat now. Now it's grayed out at the moment. That means that our consultants are all doing other things at the moment, like webinar trainings or recording a session for a customer, things that they can't be available for a immediate response to. However, I believe that, yep, there she goes. Melissa has signed in on the back end for me, and now that button has turned to green and blue. That means someone right now is available for a real-time chat for me as the demo Tammy teacher to answer a question for me. So I'm going to show you how this works. I'm going to click try chat now. It's going to bring up a window where it says select department. I want you to think of department as your program or platform. So when I click select department, it's going to show me the programs that are that someone on our team is currently available to answer questions for or about. And so I'm going to choose Success Maker just as an example, because I know you use Success Maker in Jefferson County. And right here, I'm going to type in, how can I get my login info? And start the chat. So it's going to tell me that an agent will be with you shortly. And there we have Melissa. She's on the back end, our side of the system, and has joined me on the chat. And so you can tell that she's typing a message to me because this little pencil is kind of pulsating. Yeah, she says, hi, Tammy, aka Hunter. And I'll just write back. I mean, this is a really great system where I can write back whatever I want. And he says, how is everyone doing today? Melissa can also insert links. She can insert pictures, screenshots, handouts, lots of things that she can put into this chat for me that will be helpful or that might be helpful in terms of answering my questions. When the chat is over, and let's say Melissa had given me in just text in the chat, how to get to a playlist that I've created on the Realize platform, for example. If I want a record of that so that I can go back and read it later, when I end the chat, I have the option to rate my support experience. Great job, I'll say. And I can submit that.
Thanks.
You're welcome. But also, I can print a transcript or I can email myself that transcript so that I have that record available to me for future reference. All right, so that is how you access the live real-time chat system on My Savvis Training. You probably noticed that on this page in the background that there's a second option. And that's there if this is kind of in that grayscale tone, you can leave a message for us. And we are working diligently to answer these just as quickly as we can for you guys. Back to school, especially this year, with all of the shift and changes that teachers are going through across the country with regard to distance learning and how to use the Savvis system or best use the Savvis programs in a distance learning environment. We're covered up with questions, and we love that because we know we must be helping. Otherwise, folks wouldn't ask. But this is an option you have. Leave a message. Your name and email will be automatically filled in for you. If you'd like to leave a phone number, you can do that. Feel free to enter that there. If we need to reach out to you by phone, we will. And then you want to select, of course, your program. So I'm going to choose Vision Math. And then I would just simply type my message in, whatever my question is, and send it to the training specialist. So that's how you reach out for help when you get to those questions that you don't know what they are quite yet. And I mentioned during my time on the chat system and support system, distance learning, we've mentioned it several times, and we have basically handpicked a lot of resources for you for just that, distance learning.
You're right. Before we leave the chat page, though, I do want to point out on the right-hand side, there is the phone number and a quick link for you to be able to type something on the text side. So think left side is going to be curriculum. And then the right side is going to be tech help with that number there. And then that link that you can do the same thing of leaving the message. You can do it that way. Stephen, did we have a question before we go?
No, that's good. But I love that there is tech and support for this tool. Normally, our teachers would contact the help desk and they would get help, but they can actually get a training specialist like one of you all to answer their questions specific to Savas.
You're right. And Hunter and I both, obviously, as you saw myself, remaining chat. So you can come in and say, hi, Melissa. And you can say, hey, I watched you're so famous on YouTube now. I saw your video. We were teasing about that earlier.
Yes.
All right. So the distance learning, we want to make sure we get this in as we're finishing up, because we know this line right here, this COVID-19 line, we came up with just as things were starting. So I know that some of it you might say, okay, well, I've already figured that out now. But again, remember, this was as we were starting. And like I said earlier, the program itself, when you go into Realize for whatever program you have, a lot of them have a distance learning tab where it's saying, hey, we've pulled these specific program resources out of your program that say this is an awesome thing that you can use for distance learning. But these are more generic, or at least this first part is. So go ahead, Hunter's going to launch that COVID-19 line, and that is available on every single page. Now, we're going to scroll in a minute, but that free download, that red line there, there's some extra stuff in there. Actually, Hunter, if you'll click on that, because we skipped that the last time, and I want to get it in this one. You've got some stuff, grade level, but then that fresh ideas for teaching, there's a blog right there. That's all right. He wanted to get math on there with his middle school math. I know. That fresh ideas for teaching, that blog right there is really good. It's got a lot of great ideas with it. So don't miss that. That was that first line that you can click there. And then obviously you can go into pre-K, K5, 6, 8, 9, 12. All right. So back up, if you will, Hunter, and go now scrolling down. You can see these tabs here: need access, oh, I already have access, or just basically questions. Then keep scrolling and you're going to see it by program. And remember, there's going to be extra stuff here than what you guys have access to, but there's Mill and Levine. Let's go ahead and click that one since we're right here. And on this page, there's that jump right in. So there's going to be, scroll down a little bit, Hunter, if you will, an overview, some digital help, that kind of stuff. But you can miss it if you're not careful. So after you have, again, all of those, here's the lab and here's this, that, the other. But scroll back up. Right before you start scrolling, it says, click here to access the at-home resources. That's your money shot right there. So that's going to have certain things that are going to be great. Now, do you have the whole entire program? Yeah, you do. But as you're getting started and you're like, wow, I don't know all of this stuff. Obviously, these things were selected because they were good for distance learning. So get your toes wet, get here and say, dip your toe in, or get your feet wet. I kind of combine that, sorry. But you can dip your toe in here and say, what is a great resource that I can do in Miller Levine? And of course, every single program does exactly the same thing. It's going to say, hey, here's some great stuff that is available. So if you'll back up and maybe pick one more, just so you can kind of see, no matter what it is, you can kind of see you have tons and tons of things available. So this here is under the COVID-19 line. And again, whatever program you're doing, there's Elevate Science or Envision Math, whatever it is, pick your category. There's the click at home resources. And then below that, of course, the digital help, that kind of stuff. But it's just got some great help for you there. Some direction, I guess, is a good term for that. So be sure and check out those great resources. All right, Stephen, let's check to see. We're about ready for the Q&A section. But while Hunter's going back to the PowerPoint and everything, do you have anything for us before he leaves that you want us to go over? Or
no, just an apology for my son walking in and startling me, and then you probably hearing that.
You must have been on the video off because we didn't see it. So you didn't have to confess. And
Yes.
no worries. Everybody's at home. We are good. I was like, if the doorbell rings, you'll meet Charlie. All right. Well, go ahead and type those in. I did send to you, Stephen, the link for the survey, the link for the Google Classroom page stuff, and product supports information that is from that page there, just so you had it handy.
All right, I'm going to drop those in right now.
All right, perfect. I emailed that to you, so if you'll send that in their chat, they'll have those things. One of those, again, the survey link, not to see your thunder, Hunter, but we would appreciate if y'all would fill out that about the survey. So certainly if you have any questions, let us know. We would appreciate that. Hunter, if you want to pull that back up in just a minute, we can certainly show them how to get to it. With that, they'll have the link, but you can do that if you would like.
Yeah. So folks, while you're perhaps thinking of questions that you might have or need us, things we might need to go back and show you how did we get here or there. And I know that there's a slight delay, so that this will give you a little bit of time while you're doing that. I did want to jump back over to my Savvis training. I'm going to go to the main page by clicking that logo in the top left of the screen. I want to show you how to access the survey, and we value your feedback. We want to know what we have done well so that we can keep doing that, and of course, what we could improve upon. We are just striving day in and day out to make these sessions just as engaging and as valuable to you as we possibly can. So from this main page, if you'll go down to the bottom under this services heading, there's a link that says event sign in. If you'll click there, or the link that Stephen is going to provide to you, that will work too. It'll take you to the exact same place. It's going to bring up a white screen with a blue button that says, let's get started. And so I'll click there and just show you the first page. You'll notice the back and forward buttons on either side, the left and the right. So as you're filling out a page, you'll choose the name of the consultant that worked with you in your session. So you'll want to choose for today's session, my name, or scroll on down and choose, I passed it again, I did that last time, Melissa's name, Melissa Wills.
I think you're trying to get everybody to fill it out for you. Well,
yeah. So you'll choose the name of the consultant that's worked with you. We know this won't be 100% scientific because it'll just be kind of a random pick across the board. Hopefully we'll get roughly 50-50. Select your product line. So you might want to choose for today other, since the Realize platform is not an option here, or my Savvis training is not an option here. Other is fine. That will work just fine. Put in the date of the session for us, and then move on over to the next page. This shouldn't take you more than 3 or 4 minutes. It's not a big, long survey where you've got to write a bunch of stuff. It's pretty quick. And like I said, we value this. I read every single one that I get. So it really does help me do better each time I get some feedback from you. So thank you in advance for filling that out for us. So back to questions and our answer time. Stephen, you've done a great job, and we appreciate you helping us with questions that are coming in since we cannot see them. Yeah. If there's anything that has been asked, let us know. We want to take some time to do that for everyone at this time.
I think we're good on questions. I did post the Google Classroom that you shared with me, Melissa, and I posted the feedback form on there as well. And when I do cut up the video and get it posted on the digital learning channel, I will put those resources. You have the video, and then down below we put resources, and I'll put the link to both those as well on the digital learning channel. So when people watch the video, they can go to those resources and still fill out the feedback form after that.
Awesome.
That's great. Thanks.
Sure, no problem.
Well,
We've enjoyed. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Absolutely, we have enjoyed our time with you, and we want to just kind of quickly, in summary, go back over the topics that we've covered today. How do you get registered? How do you find the programs that you're using, the page on My Savas Training for those programs? How do you locate training resources once you're on that page on My Savas Training? How do you access your transcript? We want you to get the credit that you deserve for the time that you spend in training. And so that's why that feature is there, tracking your progress and tracking what you complete and providing certificates. When you have questions, again, like I said earlier, the site is designed to be a continued training and support resource for you. Come to that chat support section that we showed you. Reach out to us. We won't know that you have questions unless you ask them. So please, by all means, use that feature. The distance learning resources, of course, we mentioned the shift and that teachers are day in and day out. I know I have heard from my home county. I moved here to South Carolina about 6 months ago, and I still stay in touch with folks back in West Tennessee, and many of them are teachers. You guys are doing 3 to 4 jobs at the moment, and we know that. We know that there's been an enormous shift and that you are rising to the occasion, and we wanted to do everything we could to handpick the resources that would help you best with distance learning. So we talked about that. We provided you with some time for Q&A, and then, of course, we reminded you we want to remind you in our wrap up now of the survey.
I do want to point out also, Hunter, as something that you said earlier, the site is always changing. It's not, a static there. So as new things come out, we saw that new button or tab or whatever we called it. But we see that there's always things that are coming out. So don't think, well, I've been to the site. Keep going back to it because new things will be added, are added all the time so that you can get more and new and a different perspective on something. So
yep. And while things are being added, one thing that I can tell you is that the general organization of the site, however, stays the same. And so that really helps. If you get to the site and you know the organization, then don't worry that it's going to be different tomorrow. It's going to stay the same.
mm.
So we thank you guys so much. Again, we're just a quick 2 or 3 reminders here. The URL for your training and support site is www.mysavastraining.com. Your technical support resource, the number shows different on this slide than we saw on the website. Both of them work. They get you to the same place. If you want to take a quick snapshot of this screen or in reviewing the recording later, this will be here as a reminder. And as a final shameless reminder, we certainly want to remind you to appreciate your feedback via the survey. Choose my name or Melissa's name as your consultant for the session. Thank you so much for your time. I know that there's probably another session coming up right now. And so thanks again, Stephen, for all your help. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, Hunter. Thank you, Melissa. Hunter coming to us from South Carolina and
Yes,
Melissa coming from Alabama. Thank you for joining us in Kentucky today to get our teachers up to speed on Savas. And thank you for teaching me how to say it. Yes.
You did. Think savvy.
Yes, I got it now.
Now get savvy. All right. Thanks, everybody.
And we will get this resource out on the JCPS Digital Learning channel. So if you missed it or were just joining us at the tail end, this will be available for you to watch on demand on the JCPS Digital Learning channel. So thank you very much. We appreciate you supporting our Kentucky teachers. And you guys, everybody have a good afternoon. Thanks.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Well, I'm Stephen Durham with the Digital Innovation Channel, and I believe that wraps up our Savas training for the afternoon. We will be back at 12:30 today. Danielle Washburn will be your moderator, and she will be here. Let's take a look at the schedule to see what's coming up. So we have a couple sessions on Gifted and Talented. We have Gifted using choice boards effectively to enrich GT students. Christy Hayes will be leading that. We have reciprocal teaching, HYP for distance learning. And we'll have some people from MTSS engagement for that. Opportunities to respond, HYP for distance learning. And again, MTSS engagement. Then we have fact checking and anti-racist resources with Nancy and leveraging Google Classroom with AP students. So make sure you come back this afternoon if you're available to check out some of that programming. And like I said, we have live programming on Mondays, and then we make sure to get these episodes available so you can watch them on demand on the JCPS Digital Learning channel. And if you would like to come back and join us tomorrow, it looks like, oh, yes, next Monday, again, we will have our digital tool weekly update. So any changes that have happened to Google Meets, Microsoft Teams meetings, Google Classroom, any of those digital tools we are using, we will be back Monday to let you know any updates. And basically, we just listen to our teachers and like try to find out what do our teachers need help with and try to focus the show around that. So I hope you all enjoyed the trainings this morning. I hope you're able to come back at 12:30 today. Until then, enjoy your lunch, enjoy your day. Have a good Monday. Have a good week. Take care. Thank you.